geekversus.com.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Weekly Game Chat. I'm your host, Chris, as always joined by Shaun.
Indeed.
That's it.
How do we move on? Like, what do we do? Because
I just been...
Is he dead, or...
He's just kind of a thing now.
And if he came back, like, is he dead, or...
Oh, hey, John.
John. How are you doing?
How do I get through one night?
No, shut it down. Shut it down.
But
Right stuff.
Trisha and Leanne are fine with it. They're cool with it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're cool.
I can't remember who actually wrote that song.
Does it matter? Because they didn't sing it.
I think it was...
I want to say Leanne.
I wrote that song. No, Leanne recorded it for the movie Con Air, but it had already been recorded by Trisha Yearwood. See, I'm really white.
I want to say I can prove I'm whiter by saying she recorded it, and then they wanted to...
Oh, my God.
They wanted to put it on, or she wanted to put it on
John.
an album.
Thanks for singing this song.
Hold on.
Oh,
She wanted to put it on an album, and then basically they came back and said, no, because we want to use it for Con Air, but we don't want to use you because we like Trisha's version of the song. She's now also recorded more.
Two things.
So then
Leanne's clearly the better version.
they're both fine to me.
No. Mm-hmm. I don't even want to get in this dumb argument, but no.
You just got in it.
I know. Head first.
Mm-hmm.
Can we please just let it go?
It's gone.
Going to Wikipedia. I missed you
Just
too.
let it. See what you did?
Yeah.
Out of all the songs.
What can I say? I'm undead.
Old Undead John.
So we live in a world now where Philly has the Super Bowl. It's a dark, depressing world.
I rallied to the fans of Philly to say what's up on our Twitter.
Yeah.
Just this afternoon.
And they're like, we can't talk. We're burning stuff.
We have rioted. Why would you riot? We're celebrating, and everybody called out sick today. I agree that the Super Bowl is such a big national thing that if your city wins, the city should just shut down the next day.
I agree with that.
Just for real.
Yeah. I don't understand. Like, Baltimore's really bad about it. Philly's
About
really
what?
bad about rioting when they win championships and stuff. Ohio is pretty bad from
Is he just naming
Cleveland.
Cities?
No,
what
like
is he doing? He's just rambling.
I'm just remembering when all these things happened. Like, I remember when Maryland won the national championship in basketball and how Baltimore got torn apart from it. So
You didn't say that right.
Baltimore. Anyways.
Yeah. Don't be too energetic, John.
I have a zombie brain. What do you want from me?
What do you want from me?
You're kind of like going for the Shaun the Dead zombie where if I hand you the game control, you can kind of figure out how to play the game.
I don't know, but I'm getting kind of hungry.
Or the Red Dead
yeah,
Redemption Undead Nightmare?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Is it?
Yeah, that's a good one.
Is it?
That's a really good zombie.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, we
Talked about zombies last week and how he thinks they're kind of a dime a dozen.
was it last week?
It was last week.
That game is awesome.
I listened to
Yes.
that podcast in heaven.
We don't we don't believe that you listen to it. And by we I mean me.
We don't believe you went to heaven. You're not Catholic.
That's funny. AF. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, you hear how excited he is to be back.
He's
It's
really
in his
excited.
voice. You should see his face.
There
See?
you go.
See, The Sound of Silence
I can see it.
by Johnny Pookie Bear Barron.
The sound
Some good commercials last
of
night.
silence.
I ran into a friend of mine
Hello, darkness, my old
Shut it down. Shut it down.
on the day
No. We can't afford
On the
Paul
day-
Simon and
on the day that I brought you when you were dead, and I brought you crystal burgers. I ran into a friend who, while I was waiting on your to-go order from the inside, because trust me, there was no way I was braving the drive-through. Somebody walked in and they were like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I was like, then we said some things, and I
Did
was
you know
like,
their name?
This
I
is
did.
a great
Okay.
conversation.
I do. It's basically, I go, John doesn't feel good, so I'm bringing him some food today for lunch. And he was like, oh. So his next words were, Pookie Bear don't feel good?
Who was this culprit?
So it's somebody that would know you.
Well, yeah.
Or know that your wife.
Your wife?
It was a guy?
Yeah. Calls you Pookie Bear.
I bet I know who it was.
And you just ran into them at Crystal.
It was the weirdest thing ever.
Was it Jim?
What?
That's my guess.
Who the heck is Jim?
See, that's not crazy.
Jim and the...
Jim G.
No.
Oh.
I don't know who that is, but I know for sure it
You know
wasn't.
who that is.
I don't know Jim G. I do know Jim G.
You don't. You probably don't. You guys did
He
not.
worked with them.
I did, and he's known as the worst person that ever has done his job.
Ouch.
There.
By who?
By his coworkers.
Jim listens to the show.
That's why I'm saying exactly what I'm saying. Chris, this is called a troll moment. This is called a lie. This is called saying things. This is called riling people
You see
up.
Chris a troll.
I looked at the meter. It was not a lie. You were being very truthful. Take that, Jim.
So anyway, who was it?
Friend Matt.
Coach Matt.
No. Look, I don't know if his name needs to be out there. It's just Matt.
It's okay. We're good.
Matt.
That's fine.
Nah, she's got some.
Yeah.
But yeah, some good commercials. Some good
The commercials
trailers.
were terrible.
Tide.
The Tide stuff was only funny because it was the only really funny series of commercials.
What was the Tide one? Did they make fun of the Tide Pods?
They made fun of every commercial.
Oh.
Like they had,
Everything is a Tide commercial.
yeah, the guy on a horse about the Old Spice commercial was now in a Tide commercial.
Did the Budweiser?
Yeah, no,
It's here. It's just here. It's just here.
Did the Budweiser commercial go off well?
It went off.
It's
okay.
like-
I don't know how it's set up, but basically Eli would come in and he was showing the end. He was kind of working himself up for something. But the way it showed here locally, it would show like a local commercial and then almost go right into that commercial. And you're like, what is going on? But
Eli.
by the Manning.
That was the NFL commercial. That
It was.
wasn't Bud. Bud, they teased the battle, and then afterwards,
Oh,
they were
yeah, that
losing
one
the
was
battle.
dumb. That one was dumb.
And then
I'm talking about the other one. Can you hear me now?
which one are you talking about then?
The one where they're filling the beer cans with water.
Oh yeah, I mean that was. All right.
Oh, that one was
I'd seen that. Yeah,
that was a good commercial, but it wasn't.
These poor people who want water are going to go, wow, beer.
well, they did all the beer.
I don't
Places,
think he took that commercial the right way.
Yeah, I think like a lot of the beer
he
places actually do that. Like Stella, I know does that. They're very big on it.
There was a lot of
Since they had Matt Damon.
to
telling
me,
us.
there was a lot of commercials in that vein to where it was more about the coming together and the niceness. And I'm like, I need funny. I need outrageous funny. And it just seems like the last few years, those are kind of gone away.
They did have the controversy commercial.
Which one was that, Chris?
Ram decided to use MLK and to sell their trucks.
I missed that.
It was pretty funny to see. I was like, who thought this was a good idea? It was that kind of moment. And I want to say, I think they did it because they did a commercial on farmers where they used Paul J. Harvey's famous farmer quote one year. And they were probably going for that again.
Is Paul J. Harvey just Paul Harvey?
I thought last year they did a similar commercial with a other world leader type voice out there. So I don't know.
It's part of their marketing thing. And I didn't know it caused controversy.
Yeah, there was a lot of heat of it on the twits.
Ooh. Is
And
that
it
you or
was-
me? Because, see, we have Apple Watches.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You don't even have a watch on.
Yeah, I'm cool.
Time. Who needs that?
Yeah. It's just a made up human.
I got a
invention.
phone. But yeah, shout out to the Eagles.
The Eagles.
I know you didn't want to see that happen.
I can't. I will never root for them.
You can't.
I can't.
But if you didn't know this, John, that was the first time the Eagles won a National Football League title.
Ever. Even before there was a Super Bowl.
So
the super what?
Super Bowl.
The big game.
Yeah.
If you will.
The big game.
We'll avoid the branding.
What'd y'all think about the halftime show?
Well, Stallone is a Philadelphia Eagles fan, obviously.
So is Bradley Cooper.
And apparently Kevin Hart.
I think
really-
I still think that that's a bit. I think
No,
it was
I
Kevin
watched-
Hart being funny, like just being Kevin Hart about it.
Nah, he seemed like he was wasted.
Well, even so, he's a comedian, so you got to realize everything he does, it's a bit.
Well, I mean, in the end, everyone was just laughing
Chris,
with him.
a bit is.
Yeah. It was just like, it was just funny because I caught it like when it
You caught
actually
it
happened.
live?
Like when he was, when Darryl Green, former Redskin legend, was walking up the stairs, I noticed there was a really large security guard and he was obviously blocking someone back. And as he went by, you could finally see the face. I was like, oh, that's Kevin Love trying to get up there.
Hart.
Or I'm sorry. Yes, Kevin Hart. If it had been Kevin Love, I'd been like, you shouldn't be pushing anyone. You have a broken wrist right now.
Hand. Is it wrist? Hand?
It was wrist.
It was wrist.
I mean, is there really a difference?
There is. Break your wrist versus your hand. See what happens.
Well, let's try. But anyways,
Did you watch it, John? The Super Bowl at all?
Not a bit.
Not a bit.
Not a bit. I was watching Netflix last night and
Ooh.
saw right at the top
the
that
Cloverfield.
the Cloverfield trailer. I'm sorry, the Cloverfield movie was dropping right after the football
It was
game.
It was funny because during the promo it said coming very soon, and I was like, it's going to be on Netflix like in an hour.
But you said Justin Timberlake was. Not
say
you. I heard Justin Timberlake was sort of a hit or miss. I don't know.
I would say the performance was good, but it was kind of almost.
The energy was there.
But it was just weird.
It was, one. He hit so many songs in the medley that you really never got the experience of the song. Like, to her credit, like a couple of years ago when Katy Perry was there and she ended with Roar. Or not Roar, Fireworks, and she was shooting across and like it built up, built up for about 2 minutes to get to that minute or to that moment. And it pays off when you're trying to sell that song. You didn't have that ability here because he would do literally just maybe half a verse of something and one line of the chorus. And then boom, transition.
The medley was mixed to where like the intro would come on for a song and then immediately go into another song. And
yeah.
I try to compare him year by year, and to me, like if you compare Gaga to him, Gaga blew it out the water.
Yeah, Gaga's up there. I think,
and then the next year it's JT, and you're like, well, I mean, I like every song he played. It just felt.
What did Gaga do that was so amazing?
She just was awesome.
Besides show up.
I mean, she's really good live performer.
Yeah.
It was
you
creative.
See that awkward jump off that podium?
Yeah, that was fun.
A little bit lame.
What is he doing right now?
I can't hear myself. I know that's not a big deal to you guys, but I really can't hear myself.
And we really should wait till we transition to news.
Maybe I should just call my agent.
Or, I mean, yeah, and the levels. We shouldn't let people know you can't hear yourself live.
I can't hear myself.
Can you hear yourself?
If you can't hear yourself right now,
I sound like butter now.
Then because my ears are blowing up.
Yeah,
I sound like crackly butter. What the heck, man?
I'm trying to get you there.
Did you spill water on this soundboard?
It's not the board. It's the splitter.
I'm talking to Chris here.
It's the splitter. I'm
Just
the audio
sit there
guy.
and look pretty.
Sit still, look pretty.
He sabotages it. He's just sabotaging all of it.
Who? Me? John?
But the Super Bowl commercials and the halftime show has turned into a competition of who can be offended the most. To me, it's just, I've lost interest over the years.
I don't really care. Like, people are always
back, John.
People will always get offended about something, and it doesn't really matter to me. I'm more of like,
I'm offended that it doesn't matter to you.
I'm offended that you're
I'm more
not.
of like, is it good marketing or is it bad? That's the only way I really look at it.
Of course
like,
you do.
And I kind of go like,
I hate analytical Chris.
Most of them aren't that great. Most of them aren't that memorable, but I mean, it is what it is. It's a big marketing push.
Speaking of marketing,
who cares?
that noise you hear, listeners, is Hershey's Gold candy bar, and it is the best thing you'll ever put in your mouth.
It's pretzels and what?
The actual candy bar is caramelized cream, and then it has peanuts and pretzels in it.
Oh, daddy!
So it's got like
I feel like you're overselling this.
It's literally. It doesn't need to. I could not say a word.
Would you care to put some of that in my mouth?
It's going all in your mouth. All in your mouth.
Anyway.
Remember when we used to be a gaming podcast?
Right.
You want to just break off the
think about it. We shouldn't be talking about video games now for quite some time.
Why?
Or, I mean, not video games. I'm sorry. Sports, NFL sports, and football.
I'm going to talk about soccer weekly.
No.
It's like Crunch and Munch.
It's like Crunch and Munch in a candy bar form, right?
Oh, my God.
No one cares about soccer.
That's a troll statement.
No one cares about it.
Wow.
If it's not made by America, we don't care about it.
Why are you trying to elicit hate right now, Chris?
I don't know.
Hate speech.
I thought John already did that.
What did I say?
You said that that's all about being offended.
Oh.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Well, John, we're going to pivot to news soon, but I do want to get on record that it's good to have you back.
Thank you, sir.
I did miss you. We carried this ship. You know, it didn't sink.
We definitely carried.
Yeah. But
it was fun.
It's good.
Well, I got back just in time. I'll put it that way.
Ooh. I'll tell you this much. You were a sickly little boy.
Good Lord.
Yeah, you were struggling. You aren't as bad as Josh. I'll say this. You should be very lucky you did not get Josh D sick, but you were pretty bad. You were out of it.
Josh's D got sick?
Yes, that too. Because Richard got sick.
It puked a lot.
Why is that gross? I don't know, but it's funny too.
Are we ready to do this topic?
I trust Josh is on the mend.
He is.
Yeah.
He's playing WoW.
Yeah.
That's how you know he's okay.
I was also recruited to come back.
Yeah.
To Azeroth.
You should. Well, no, you don't have time.
I do have time because I'm not playing this stupid game y'all are picking up tonight.
You should invite him down one weekend.
He invited him for every day.
Yeah.
Never mind, I'll shut up.
And Josh is like, "No, dog.
I'm good. I like beds."
Oh, I don't mean while he was sick. I just meant when he's well.
I should invite him.
You should have gone up there and taken care of him.
You wanted me to get sick?
No, of course not.
I did I take care of John?
You never get sick.
I did.
Yeah.
You are the lone survivor of the zombie apocalypse. If you got bit, you'd survive the bite. You'd kill the zombie.
I don't know why that's funny, but it's funny.
The zombie would die from
what?
From biting Chris.
This is.
I promise you, I can and do get sick, but it has been a little while. Been a while. Anyways, pivot
And the herpes too, man. It was just awful.
Whoa,
definitely.
Pivot. Topic time.
The topic is Monster Hunter World.
You almost talk like they do in the game.
Isn't that's right?
Yeah, Monster Hunter World. Yeah.
Something.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know that. Why are you acting like you don't know that?
I just made the graphic.
Why do you look like Jimmy, not Fallon? What's his name?
Kimmel?
Yeah. I just realized you look like Jimmy Kimmel.
I'm going to go have the man show now. Ziggy zagga. Oi. Oh.
You should just have a successful late night talk show. That'd be better than the man show.
Then I'd have to be Stephen Colbert. Ooh.
You'd have to beat him?
Well, I'd have to be him.
Please beat him. Wait, what?
Successful.
Why do you hate Stephen Colbert now?
He hates him.
I don't hate him.
He hates him.
Just find him to be a little bit pretentious, that's all.
Ooh, big word. Ooh. That's it.
Just got a message in from Stephen Colbert. He says, ditto, John.
I don't know what that means.
Oh, ditto means like
I know
this.
what ditto means. I don't get it. I don't get it.
He finds you to be pretentious, too.
He must have heard me out of his warped, wonky ear.
What'd you
He
just
does have
say?
a worky ear.
He has a wonky ear.
Yeah.
One of his ears is looks like it's been chewed on by a...
It was.
Yeah, I'm sure it was a
He
birth
survived
defect.
a mauling.
Good for him.
So Monster Hunter World.
Yeah. Monster Hunter World is the game I've been playing, and these two losers have not. It's developed and I believe developed and published by Capcom.
Did you have to check on that?
Yeah, I had to read. I knew there was a P word that it did. And it's out right now only on PlayStation 4 and Xbox
One.
Xbox One. Xbone.
It's not PC?
Project Scorpio.
PC's coming out later in the year, and that is really because they wanted to go ahead and push out the hardware, like the consoles, and then they're really going to optimize the game for PC users to be basically the best experience you can be and all that stuff. So
Is it good?
the game is. I'm saying this with just like most of the people who've reviewed the game, a very positive mindset.
Awesome. News! No, I am excited to hear about this.
Well, I'm the only one. Did you play Monster Hunter at all, Chris? Anywhere?
Outside the beta now.
Yeah, and you played the beta and didn't want to get it, which confused me.
It's more of, and I've said this, I could see myself enjoying that game.
Is there an easy
But it's
mode?
also well, that would be you. Anyways.
What is that? What just
I have
happened?
no idea.
You always say he goes on easy mode to play games.
He doesn't know that that's what I mean.
Yes, he does. It's a running joke. Shut up. Shut up.
Shut your face. Shut your face.
Anyways.
My God. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll get back into it. I'm sorry. This is probably my fault. Wedge in the gears.
No, it's
We were so good.
I
And
know.
then he came and he ruined it.
He ruined it. He ruined old derailed Jonathan. John, come back.
You can't do that bit because you don't have a car.
We missed you, John.
Uber.
Uber doesn't come to my house.
They've been told.
Yeah. You best get off my lawn. And you're like, sir, this is an apartment complex. Fake laugh.
That wasn't fake.
I know, no.
That was real. Look, now he's.
Anyways.
You're so pretentious.
No, it was a game that when I played the beta, I was like, I could see myself doing this, but it's a game that I don't want to play unless I have a lot of time to do it. Because it's a lot of grind.
It's so deep. I mean, the game.
How deep is this,
It's
Richard?
so deep. There's literally so much to do, and if you come into this game kind of like as a new player, that may be overwhelming at first. But I do have to say that I don't know if it did it in the beta. I didn't play the beta. Coming like into your main world, your main hub, it does hold your hand, and it gives you a lay of the land. It holds your. I know I just said this, but it holds your hands up to the questing aspect of the game, which I think helps a lot to somebody that's new. Because the way you match and the way you play, and I'll get into that later, it can be a little different. Let's say that you and I want to play Call of Duty. We just send an invite. Boom, we're playing Call of Duty. Monster Hunter, you kind of have to start a thing, and you can invite people to play in your game.
Like a session.
But then they have to kind of, when you post a mission, they have to kind of go in there and find it. But if you're in a party chat, I've had zero issues with it. Like I said, I'll get into it. So basically, you start out and you're on this boat, and your character is sailing to this new world. It's an untamed kind of new adventure that you're going to, and you're part of what's called the Fifth Fleet. Apparently, the way I took it is fleets 1, 2, 3, and 4 are already either there or dead, and you're part of the Fifth Fleet. Okay,
Is this the one with cats? Is this why you have a cat?
no.
Okay.
I don't know why cats have always been around.
I have no idea. I was just like,
The cats, they're
when
not
I
called
went
cats.
into the
They're
beta,
called like palicos.
yeah, like when I was in the beta, they were like, so
Wait
you
till
need
I
to-
get about the cats. They're freaking amazing.
They're like,
so,
hey, we need to make this cat.
I'm not. What? Even though it's very early on, something happens on your trip that is a recurring theme through the entire story mode of the game. So I'm not going to say what it is, but something really messes up your visit there, and you have to kind of.
They cancel your hotel reservation?
Yes,
Your car breaks down.
That would be terrible. I heard that. This is a sidetrack, but I heard that a new thing people are doing for people they hate is they find out where you're going on vacation and the hotel you're at, and they cancel your reservation.
Oh my Lord.
Just because like Kevin's going to vacation and we hate Kevin, let's call his hotel, and because all the hotels ask for is your name. They don't ask for anything else really.
When are you going to? When are you going to Disney?
Disney will shut that down. Okay, so back on thing. So you kind of get your derailment, and then you get to where you're going, which is the new world. So the new world, there's your main base when you get there, your main hub is called Astera. I want to make sure I say that right. Astera. And that's your main overlying hub. You all right? John's giggly.
Japan.
Japan. So basically, also the character customization happens when you're on the ship right before the derailment happens, and for a game that's as deep as it is with everything else, I felt like it was adequate as far as character creation. I went with a female named Yoki.
Yeah, you did.
I created the name Yoki because I'm funny like that, and that's just what I did. But she's really cool. So, the cutscene's really good. So then you eventually, like I said, end up on that new world, which is called Astera. And from there, you immediately go meet like the commander. There's already kind of establishments there. Like I said, there'd already been different, fleets and things like that have gotten there. So you got like a herbologist area. You got like a mission area, and you get to go through all those. You end up getting like your little bunker that you're in that you can manage your items in. It's got like a big chest. It's kind of like your room, if you will. And then before you know it, you're off on your first quest. And that's when the game kind of becomes like, oh my God, this is awesome. So,
how long does that take?
From the time you start the game to your first action, maybe 20, 30 minutes.
Good deal.
So it kind of gives you, like I said, you're going to know where things are. It's one of those things where they're presenting it to you. And I could see it if it's your first time playing, you go, where was that at? But they give you they give you cues on your map. So like if it's saying, go get this mission from this person, there's an icon where that person matches. It kind of flows like that.
I remember the beta kind of did a good job of directing you as to where you need to go. It was more of the confusing thing is like, I have no idea what any of this stuff I'm getting is for, or what the best combinations were at the time. But I would imagine that's probably probably some of the joy of the game is more of like the trial and error of figuring things out as far as combat and all that.
Oh yeah, because you get to, before you go out on your main first quest, you do go to the place where you get to kind of select your weapon.
Yeah.
And if you've never played Monster Hunter, there is a plethora. Plethora. There's a ton of weapon options, not necessarily like what each weapon is. There's a sword and a shield, or there's like a lance, but then you can customize those based on materials you get as you're doing these hunts on these animals. And that I'm going to probably say this 1,000 times, but the actual crafting system of the game is so massive. It's a really big part of the game, because with each animal you hunt, you can either kind of basically capture them, or after you kill them, you can cut at them and get all their parts, because each one of those parts for those animals are going to make either armor or your weapons and things like that. You remember that when you played it?
Yeah, that's what I gathered.
Yeah. And then there's actually trees that you can pick where you want to go. So do you want to stay on the bone thing if you're just collecting animal bones, or do you want to start doing this particular animal that you killed? And then you're going to notice that each thing has different traits. And when you start getting in that, you start realizing, oh my God, this game has the potential to go to all these places in depth as far as crafting and forging and upgrading and things of that nature. So that's really cool for the people who want to dive into that. But going back to, so you picked your weapon. My first weapon I ever picked was a sword and shield. To me, that's just classic. It gives you some like mobility. You got a little bit of defense, but you're kind of agile. You can kind of move kind of fast. I mentioned a lance. Let's say you chose a lance. You'd have a big old shield and a long lance. And the main thing you want to do is be defensive and poke, when you need to.
Keep your distance, basically.
Yeah. And for you people who don't want to necessarily wield that kind of weapon, they do have a gun with bullets, and they also have a bow and arrow, which...
As opposed to a gun without bullets?
Well, it depends on... Yes. I know, yes. Bullets.
There's staple guns.
Yeah.
There's glue guns.
There is. Thank you, John.
You're welcome, man.
That's what I'm talking about.
Those are just other kind of bullets.
But I did play with a friend of the show, Cameron.
Is he a friend?
Yeah, we teased that he might be here today, and he's got a lot going on, and plus I didn't ask him to come. So
take that, Cam.
He likes the bow and arrow, and he's fresh off playing Horizon Zero Dawn.
Mm-hmm.
So when I've played it, if Horizon Zero Dawn's bow is better, that's going to be super impressive, because the bow
I would go on record and saying right now that's probably the best bow and arrow I've played in the game.
Right, that's what. But I'm saying this bow and arrow in this game is really, really good. So you got your first mission, and now you're going to go into the untamed part of the world. A big thing they added in this version of Monster Hunter that they never have, and it's because they're able to be on systems like the Xbox One and PS4, is that the zones that you're going to go to, they used to be, if you were in Zone 1 and you wanted to go to Zone 2, you'd have to load. There'd be a big loading screen.
Okay.
But now with the power of these systems...
You mean the power of Project Scorpio, Xbox One enhanced?
World exclusive.
Xbox
PS Pro,
5 million.
You're able just to seamlessly go through these worlds without having to do any loading. And if you're new to this franchise, you may not understand how big of a thing that is. Mm-hmm. It's tremendously awesome that you can just go from here to there. Super cool. So you go off and then before you know it, you're fighting your first monster, which hopefully you can take down. It's actually kind of easy.
Yeah, it wasn't that hard.
A lot of the monsters that you end up going against, they're going to have tails. Not like literal tails, but you'll be able to see.
So kind of like Shadow of the Colossus when you fight them and you go like, oh, I need to do this to get to the next part.
Initially, you can rely on that, pretty much for the whole fight. But the monsters are super smart. The AI in this game is crazy good. So if the monster starts dying and he realizes he's in trouble, he's going to become super aggressive and do things that kind of throw you off for a minute.
Okay.
And yeah, it was cool getting back into Monster Hunter and that first kill, and you're like, this is or the hunt itself, getting to that first monster and then defeating it. That's why you play Monster Hunter, because there's nothing else that I really can think of that's kind of like that. I noticed from as soon as I landed in that world, they have these new things called, they're like little green.
Oh, the like firefly thing.
Yeah.
Right?
They might even be called fireflies.
Yeah. Cause I think from what I read, that was one of the big improvements that they made to make the game a little bit more accessible to people. Because it makes it a little bit easier to find where you're supposed to go to find the animal, right?
Yeah. They're called scout flies. And what they do, they're like green orbs, almost like fireflies. And as you're traversing through the world, they're going to highlight things you may need, like footprints to help you hunt the animal that you haven't got like a scent on yet. It's going to highlight bushes that maybe you need so you can forge new weapons or new bullets or new herbal medicines and things of that nature. So they're really, really handy. And like I said, they help you track the monster. What's very cool, and this recently happened to me, is that later on as you get in the story and you're tracking these monsters, multiple monsters are in locations, right? And they don't necessarily like each other. Maybe an aggressive monster meets another aggressive monster.
And he's like,
they can actually help you in your objective now. Like if one big monster comes over and it doesn't like the monster you're fighting, it will attack it. And the first time that happens, your scout guide comes on and says, hey, this could be to our advantage, which that's one of the many things that they added in the hunting aspect that aid you in your strategy. You would really do well in this game, Chris, because of how you do, like in, say, the Metal Gear games. You really think things out.
Well, this is what you're describing right there makes me think about, actually, again, back to Horizon Zero Dawn, where you have these huge open areas and, you might be going after one particular type of robot monster dinosaur, but there would be, and John, this, like there would be other ones, and with the right nudge, you can like cause mass chaos between these groups. And then the next thing you know, one of them has kind of done the damage for you that you're trying to inflict on the mass group. So it's easier for you to clean up. So that's cool that they brought that in. I like it. That it seems to be a thing that's going on with a lot more games now, especially with open world environments, is that like you're not just confined to this one thing. And kind of it harkens me back to actually the Far Cry, because that was actually the first game I can recall that I got that experience.
Yeah, that's too. I mean, I didn't play Horizon or even Far Cry.
Most anticipated game of 20.
Yeah, I want to, another sidetrack, and I think you did it recently, is you went back and played Far Cry 4, which I watched. I saw you doing it.
Yep.
Kind of inspired me a little bit.
Like, I saw what you did.
Well, like I said, it's really cool because they've added so many things like that to the hunt. You have a new kind of grappling hook you can use.
Ooh.
You got like this little thing on your arm. I forget what it's called, but it can shoot like if you pick up a rock. So you can shoot it up to knock something down on top of the dragons.
The grappling hook, is it retractable?
Not like what you think. It's
not like Just Cause.
No.
Can't go wherever you want.
No, but it does have...
you almost had me.
The wilderness is cool because you can grapple up to a vine and then you can swing on vines going to where you need to go and things of that nature. Super
George
cool.
of the Jungle.
So say you're fighting a monster, right? Say you're at that point and the monster's working you. One of the classic things that Monster Hunter does is you don't necessarily, quote unquote, die. Your quest will tell you, your regular quest will say, all right, this is our objective. We want you to go kill this monster or capture this monster. Mm-hmm. And in that objective, it'll say you can only faint 3 times, right? If you faint 3 times, you're going to fail. You won't get any money. The whole point of you doing this is to get, obviously, things from the monster so you can craft and you're going to earn money, right?
Okay.
In-game money. So you go out and let's say you find yourself for the first time, you're about to run out of energy. Boom, the monster hits you with something. You're like, oh my God, that was amazing. So you faint. What happens is this little cutscene happens. These little cat creatures, they're called palicos. They come out and you're on like this little cart and they're wheeling you back to the camp. If you remember, I said when you leave Astera and you go to this zone, you're going to load into a camp. Your first camp is that camp. As you progress, you're going to unlock additional camps throughout that zone, that untamed zone that you can spawn into depending on what you want to do. Okay. So you go back to the camp.
Like Dragon Age.
Yeah, and you kind of like that.
Yeah.
So then you heal up and you got to rethink your strategy.
John's having a beverage in case you didn't hear.
That introduces a new thing they've got as you get to a certain point in the story, it's called a mantle. Mm-hmm. And what it is a kind of like a ghillie suit kind of top. Ghillie.
John knew exactly what I needed to do when you said that.
That you can equip, and what it does is it basically is like think of a hunter who has camo on. It kind of does that, so you can use potions to heal yourself.
Okay.
All right. So playing the story, from what I've gathered, I've put in probably 10 to or probably 15 to 18 hours so far, maybe even close to 20. We played almost.
Adam's probably got like 90.
No, he played one day without me.
Oh, wow.
He was doing, and that's, so me and Adam were trying to do the story together, right?
Ah, okay.
But you can go back and play previous missions that you've done, or you can go and they've got things now that are just called open, like basically open-ended field inquiries or whatever, that you can just kind of go and farm if you want to.
Oh, okay.
There's not really a thing to
side
do.
quest type thing.
They have side quests from NPCs that you see in your world that you can go and it'll naturally just kind of happen in the world.
Okay.
They unlock things that help you upgrade your armor, which is cool. Everything kind of works together like that.
Kind of like an RPG.
It is very much like an RPG. They wanted to set it up like an MMORPG without the
how, I've only seen the first monster, so I really didn't, or I guess one of the early monsters, so I can't really say, but like, as you progress in this, like, you say, like, you have those instances where you can only faint 3 times, which I'm guessing means you can only fail 3 times, correct? How often would you say that happens? Like, how often do you find yourself dying in that game?
We were running everything together. And, so that I need to touch on this and I'll answer your question. You can either play by yourself in single player, or when you go out on missions, you can have up to 4 people with you, right? In the story. In your world, like if you can, I think you can have 16 people in the server you're in. Okay. And what that entails is if you're playing solo and you need help with something new that I've seen is called an SOS flare. So you can apply to have somebody help you if you're struggling, which is really cool. I like that. Everything we've done together, and we've of course done the co-op. We've started dying recently on our newest animal we had to do in the story.
Gotcha.
I'm going to describe this thing to you. It's called an Janrath or something like that. It is a T-Rex type animal. Huge. It has like wings, a bone skull thing on its head, and it shoots fire at you.
I want to say this is actually in our image this week in the background for
Let's show it up. And so this thing, we get to it, we progress enough in the story, and this thing has whipped us. Up until this point, we've maybe fainted once. And that's just due to poor timing and your decision to try to fight this animal, and you kind of maybe have some bad luck. Some of the animals have ranged from you're fighting them just on land, and they're smart enough to pick up rocks and throw them at you, like big stones. Another one's in water, so you get stuck in like mud.
Is that it?
No, not sure. That's not it. That animal that you're showing me that you guys will see on our photos and everything for our podcast this week, that animal is, I believe, next, and he is. I mean, I don't know if this is a pun or not, but he's a beast. he's bad. Yeah. So it's really cool because you can customize your multiplayer online experiences by only allowing certain people into your server that you create. You can set passcodes so like just random Ds can't come in.
Gotcha. So like if you want to make it like a weekly games chat server, you could, for instance, set a code and we could just tell you, hey,
we're going to be on, here's our code, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay.
When you first log on, you can either say start a new online thing, or you can join one that's already there.
Sweet.
Super, super cool. Other than the main story, like I said, there's things like called investigations, there's side missions. The investigations focus on, all right, we want you to not kill this thing, but we want you to capture it. We're going to cut the time in half and you can only die one time. So what that turns into is now you got better rewards than just going in and
so
doing
kind of like heroics.
Almost like heroics, yeah. And one thing about the feigning, you're like, all right, well, that sucks. You don't really die. Well, every time you faint, your rewards that you're going to get decrease.
Okay, so it's not as harsh as per se as It's like Dark Souls, where it's like if you die, you better get back to where you were, otherwise you're screwed.
No, it's not like that at all.
But it's also not something like, say, a Mario game where the worst thing after about the first world of a Mario game, it seems now you're like, oh, I lost a life. Oh, I've only got 95 more to go through. So
when you start, like I said, when you first go to that zone, no matter what you're doing, there's going to be a trunk there, like with items. And they're going to be like potions to heal you, food to eat. Okay. If the mission calls for a trap, they'll give you one trap. But the thing is, once you use that stuff, it's gone.
Doesn't ever replenish?
It's for that particular that instance that you're in, it's gone forever if you lose it. So
okay,
that's also really, really fun. The crafting, man, I know I touched on it. It's huge, because that's how you're going to get better.
So deep.
You have to kill animals and make money so you can forge new equipment and build new equipment.
The first thing I thought of, like when I started to see how many different types of material in the beginning of this game I was getting in a beta, I was like, wiki. I would be finding a wiki right now to know what everything does.
They do have a wiki now.
Yeah, I'm sure there is.
They really, like I said, wanted it to feel like an MMO on a massive scale, but not necessarily with massive people.
Yeah, okay.
The palicos, those are the cats. They are hilarious. You're able to customize the palicos because they can help you. Because, like, I'm giving you my example. Adam and myself have played the story. The party for going into fighting or a monster is you can only have 4. I mentioned that.
Yeah.
So let's say me, you, and John played, we would have no palicos. But because me and Adam are playing, our palicos go with us, so we have a max party. And they are cool. You can add new armor to them, new weapons, because they are helping you. They are so funny to watch when you're fighting the monster. Imagine a dragon in front of me and a cat with a bone skull type helmet on that looks like a rabbit hitting them with a shovel is going on at the same time I'm doing what I'm doing.
Man, that's about as Japan as it gets right there.
Or we're walking through water where it's up to my waist. I'm good. The cat pops out this little raft and he's like sitting there like like trying to catch up with you.
Again, very Japan.
What was that again?
The visuals, the
visuals of that.
I want to say one more time, but I'm not going to do it.
The game looks beautiful. I'm playing it on PS4 Pro. When you start, it gives you an option because you're playing on PS4 Pro to choose either one of 3. One of them's like graphics or FPS or something like that they really want you to focus on.
Everyone really likes the FPS is what I've gathered.
I tried, and you can change those after that initial setting. Mm-hmm. And when I had one of the other 2, it was kind of choppy. I put it on FPS. It ran great.
Now, do you sometimes though feel like you're missing something because you don't have the extra 95 teraflops of the Xbox One?
I haven't yet, but I haven't played it on Xbox. So I don't know.
Well, you just haven't had your life blown.
For those people that want to be part of like a group. The equivalent of a clan or a guild in this game is called squads.
Okay.
We've already had random people that were just on a server and they wanted to send us invites, but we declined.
Do you get benefits for squad?
I haven't been into it to know that if you play like WoW,
an experience or more gold. Or something.
I haven't done it, so I don't know. I have to report back on that.
Okay.
There is no cross platform, which is not even from Xbox to PC. They're just not focusing on that.
That makes sense.
There will be no microtransactions at any point. Capcom has come out and said that. But they are going to offer free downloadable content. There are going to be things like limited events, new monsters, things like that, which
nice.
I really like that. The story, Capcom has said, should take you 40 to 50 hours. Just the story.
That's solid.
That's solid considering everything else you can do.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Like I mentioned, the investigative, those things every day are changing. You have a reason to go back into the world to farm it to get what you want because there's different things you want to do.
It seems like a game I would imagine with the story and doing other things, just trying to build yourself up. You probably could easily go to 100 hours and it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, because the way we're approaching it, like I said, I'm pretty sure we're at least close to 20 hours already playing. And each monster takes almost an hour to beat, hunt, find.
Oh, wow.
I'm sure if we went back and we were
knew what you were looking for and where to go,
or we knew what weapons to kind of do. Yeah. Okay. We've been stuck on this bit. We're going to take this thing out tonight. This Dragon and Giraffe thing. I mentioned all the things that are coming, but there are no plans for Nintendo Switch, John.
Yeah,
I wrote that down just for you. And the reason for that isn't because they don't think they could make a version for it. It's just that they had started development for this game.
I could see that
before the Switch was announced or anybody knew what the Switch was.
Yeah, they probably want to step back and see how the online's going to shake out there too.
And they're saying the PC release is coming later in the year, and it's not going to be set up the same as far as the online stuff as the consoles are. I don't know what that means. I just know they're trying to do it probably more open, a different infrastructure on everything. Yeah. I don't know.
People will host their own servers and things like that.
I can't state enough how fun it is to track and hunt a monster and it be challenging and constantly evolving. Playing with friends is super fun. I haven't really played a lot by myself. I'm glad to be back in the Monster Hunter world. I loved it. That's another possible pun. It's just great. I love it. It's gotten positive reception. I know there were some mixed reviews or concerns when it came to playing together on the Xbox. I'm just telling you from a PS4, they kind of fixed it.
I figured, and from what I've seen, that's all been patched up.
Yeah, there have been a couple, maybe 1 or 2 patches already on the game. Like I said, man, it looks and runs great. It's Monster Hunter on a system that can handle this big, vast, open, rich world. I can't wait to get home and play it tonight. I've been balancing playing that, obviously, so I could talk about it, but it hooks you in. And then I've been playing a little bit of Fortnite too, but it is what it is, man. I love it.
Well, yeah. I think we'll touch on in a little bit how well the game's doing. But from the perspective of someone who's played a few of these titles, can you tell me what your thoughts are on what finally makes this particular game seemingly resonate with American audiences? Like, why in the past has this just not clicked with the U.S.? Huge in Japan. It's always been huge in Japan.
Yeah. I read that, and I believe this too, that they finally made a real attempt to make it easy. I remember I mentioned the hold your hand aspect to going to do this because the Western audiences are lazy. They don't want to not, you know what I mean?
I mean, does Skyrim hold your hand?
No. Well, there is one way there are ways to make it hold your hand if you want to, but it's not something that's really done by default.
I think that you have a combination that the game is on an actual console now. Good consoles, Xbox and PlayStation, that can handle this amazing gameplay, right?
Right.
Normally and historically, it's been really popular on handhelds or older consoles. Last time I played one really was on the Wii. And that game was amazing. So I think because they have actually focused on making it more user-friendly to the new person, that it's on a console and they've really wanted to make the Western audience interested, I think that's why now it appears that more people are interested.
I would also venture that it's in part just because of where Western gaming is right now. Like, this was a little bit ahead of its time when it broke, and now you see Western gamers seem to be breaking away from the linear level by level experiences and wanting more of this open world, like endless quest. Hey, here's a game that literally I can play for 40 or 50 hours if I want, or if need be, I could play for 200 to 300 hours. And like outside of, a couple of things back when, as you said, like this, I want to say the last one that came out on console was like 2010.
Yeah.
So, it's a different age, like when you compare that to now, like where it's like Skyrim blew up and then Witcher blew up and, Horizon Zero Dawn blew up. Zelda is blown up in its current iteration, all that kind of stuff. Like, it's ripe. People want that right now over here.
But isn't the formula for Monster Hunter, and I think this is an overused, overplayed criticism of almost every game. It's very repetitive in the sense of, you kill a monster, upgrade your weapons, then go kill another monster, upgrade your weapons. There's no variation to that. It's basically a rinse repeat gaming model.
I can see where that's coming from.
Maybe Japan gravitates more to than the Western audience.
It's definitely possible.
That's Diablo.
Has that has that deviated at all? Has it moved away? Is the story sort of is the story simply a functionality of the game where it doesn't really matter that much?
I feel like this story makes you want to continue the story because of how it's evolving. There is a recurring thing that you want to eventually get to that may or may not be tied to the part of the beginning in the ship thing that I told you about, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, there is an aspect of go kill this monster, and let's keep grinding and getting things we want for better gear. But you have to remember the AI in this game, and it may be different from the other Monster Hunters. I don't remember feeling, by the way, like on the one for the Wii, that it was a rinse, repeat, keep doing the same thing. But in this game, not every fight is going to be like you think it is.
Okay.
So that so far has added a complete like freshness to the entire playing of this game, and it's made me like I said, we go into a fight and we think we know what's going to happen, and the complete opposite happens. So yeah, I mean, there is the part where you got to go in and when you look at these weapons you want to build or this armor you want to build, I've got 4 of this thing and 3 of this thing, but I need 2 more of this thing, so I got to go kill this thing again. I can see, but that's part of the grind.
Have you figured out every part of that system?
No, I'm still learning it.
See, maybe that's another aspect. I mean, there's just too much system.
I love games where there's
no, sure. I mean, that's not a criticism. No, it's just like
only because I haven't tried to go find deeper and deeper and deeper. As far as crafting and upgrading the armor, I feel like I have a good understanding of that. I understand that this is here. Oh, look at that piece. If I want my defense to raise up to here, I'm going to need to go figure out how I can get that piece of armor built. Same thing with weapons for like DPS and all that stuff. So there's a lot to take in. Do you want to know what DPS stands for?
No.
Okay.
No. We're talking. Me and John were hearing the siren, and we were like, Bruce Springsteen song was going in my boat.
No, I was thinking. I was thinking, was the foot sticking out of that shallow grave?
That's funny. But this game, dude, honestly, John, it has so much charm. The Palicos add an element to it. One of the coolest places in your main hub and in every Monster Hunter game is where you go eat a meal before you depart on your journey. And you have to go to this chef and say, I want to eat this. And depending on what he has on the menu for that day, it's going to give you like an HP boost or a healing boost.
Like Final Fantasy 15.
But it's loading your mission, so you have a little bit of time to kill. And this cat, he's the main chef. You tell him what you want, and then a cutscene happens. Bing. And this awesome little adorable thing happens. And like if he's making some fish, it zooms in on his face and his hand, and his little paw is putting like a little herb right on the fish, and then it's done. And if he's making like a turkey, it's right there. It's cooked. And then it zooms in, and his little paw is putting like these little white caps on the end of the turkey leg. So
it almost has a playful charm to it.
It definitely has yes. It's completely.
Cool. I would say it doesn't seem like a game that ever takes itself too seriously.
No, it doesn't. It's super fun. If you ever thought about playing it, I think you would.
You would say this might be the one to jump into.
Possibly.
You'd want me to jump into this, don't you?
That would be really awesome.
Yeah.
We had another friend. He was the best man at my wedding. As he's grown up, he's kind of hit or miss on video games anymore. Chauncey. Yeah. He played Battlefield 1 pretty hardcore. At one point, he had an Xbox One and a PlayStation 4. He decided to get rid of Xbox. Almost got rid of PlayStation 4. Decided to keep it. Picked up Monster Hunter. Now, keep in mind, he has a consultant. He's a consultant now. He has a consulting firm he runs. Very rarely wants to play video games anymore. He says, I want to come home and relax. This game, he bought into the hype, bought it, played it, and he says, I can't wait to get home and play it now.
There you go.
I'm wondering if Ryan Leaf, if he would let go of some Fortnite, he'd probably just latch onto this like a...
He might.
If he played it and didn't have the history with Shaun with it, he would.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
They were going to play together back in the day, and then it didn't really happen. So
they were going to play together.
Yeah. We were going to play together.
Okay.
Yeah. I will say this. I've tried to recruit him to play this with me.
So he doesn't have this
yet?
If
he went down the rabbit hole with this...
This would soak him.
Oh yeah, he would disappear for about 3 or 4 months.
He would not just.
And dude, now if this just said Final Fantasy Monster Hunter, he'd be in. That's all we need.
And you know about the rinse and repeat thing? You got to think there are so many different weapon combinations too. Mm-hmm. You may be a pro at a bow and arrow and decide you're going to go fight this animal with this new thing you run, and you get whipped.
Yeah,
that little part can make it completely fresh and new every time you go fight a monster. Mm-hmm. So.
Cool.
Yeah, I like it. I give it at least a 9.
9 Richards out of
Very
10.
cool.
Yeah, at least 9 Richards, but I'm into this kind of thing. It's got depth. It's got replayability. It's got a challenge, but it's also got a lighter side to it. I'm loving every second I'm playing on it. So
Yeah, when I started looking at the reviews, and most Monster Hunter games have been well received, but
Sure.
when I saw this one, I was like, I started getting excited.
yeah,
But it's like, well, I don't know. That's a lot of time. That is a
really
lot
is.
of time, and it's not so much the time as a value. It's the investment of so many systems, so many complex systems stacked on top of each other. It's
Like
just-
I put a lot of time in NBA 2K, but to its credit, like I don't have to really think too much about subsystem. It's just like I go in and I play the game, and eventually I level up. By the way, Chris Love got his second NBA championship.
Congrats.
And, he put up 52 points in the finals and owned LeBron James at every step of the way.
yeah, I can play Far Cry 4, and it's just muscle memory. I don't even.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: for your NBA game, do you not have strategies versus different teams?
I do. Like I have to be very. My guy's only 6'1", so I have to be very cognizant. Like when I'm playing,
Cognizant. That's a good one.
I have to be aware. Like when I'm playing Philly, where they have a very strong interior, and if I try to drive the lane and it's
Joel
not
Embiid.
there, yes, I will get blocked about 9 times out of 10. So on those games, I plan to. I usually have higher assist totals because I give off to Boogie and to the Brow. And I also have a lot more threes because I mainly take my shots from the perimeter.
With that, see, and to credit Monster Hunter, you have to think about how you're going to approach an animal.
Sure. But it's not like deep critical thought like with that game versus like say when I played Dark Souls. And it's like literally like, okay, how am I not going to die for the 900th time on this guy?
Well, with the type of weaponry that you kind of adopt through your play, I assume you develop a heavy weapon play style, this type of play style.
Absolutely.
Do you ever approach an animal that's not built for your play style, or is every animal sort of you just have to find?
Let's say there's an animal that you need to be super agile on and get as like a rapid succession of hits and get out the way. But you decide that you're really good at a lance and you're just going to play with a lance. You're a slow moving defensive person with a lance.
So you're saying it pays to be adaptable.
Can you develop separate sets of weapons so you can just go back and get that set of weapons?
Absolutely.
I would imagine that's probably what most people aim to do. And like what keeps you going is like, you might have your one ultimate set of armor you're working towards, but it's also like, well, I have this thing that gives me shock armor that's designed to do this, or maybe one that's more agile. And I can't take hits, but man, can I move.
This particular armor set is going to help me with water damage.
Yeah.
So I want to rock that for this animal. There's a lot of that goes into it. One cool thing the game does do is it gives you a base set of every weapon in the game.
Oh, that's good.
And usually the base set is iron.
Okay.
So you can, if you like the way iron works and you feel good, you can work that iron tree up to go to different ones. Or if you want to upgrade to the bone tree, you can now harvest bones and make a sword and a shield out of bone, which usually has more damage. Then you can go down and I just killed a T-Rex guy. Oh, look, I can make a bow that looks like T-Rex guy. And
can you put poison on the tips?
Yes.
Put some poison on the tips.
You can on your bows. You can put
make
paralysis. You can make potions. If you harvest actual meat, uncooked raw meat, you can make a campfire in the middle of your fight. If you can hide, cook some meat. Some of that armor gives you a better idea of how to cook meat. It won't burn as fast. Okay. Super cool.
Cool.
Well, excellent job, sir.
Thank you.
We knew from the get-go that Shaun would be the guy to do this. I mean, before I was your 11th best friend,
16th.
Jeez.
You've been out of action, dude. You got to tighten up.
Before I was your 16th best friend, I knew you loved Monster Hunter.
The committee hasn't seen your action in a while, so we need to be refreshed.
I like to think I'm at 8th at this point.
You're probably maybe a little higher than that.
Oh, I'm going Final Four. Let's pivot to that news.
Yeah, indeed.
So I got to find the stop button to hit. So
hot off the press and straight to your ears. Weekly Games Chat presents the news.
News. Even John said he's back.
Yeah.
So
he's alive.
You said cognizant.
I did.
Here's what I want to do. I want to bring a big smart word like that to the podcast every week, and we have to
No, Bill O'Reilly. No. We're not doing that.
Don't you dare call me that.
We will never have the word of the day.
No, it's not it's different. We don't just we try to use it in the show throughout the entire.
I mean, the only thing I'm
down.
for. The only thing I'm for is if we want to rip off Pee Wee Herman and have the secret word of the day.
I don't see Jerry anywhere in here.
Ah, Jerry! See,
That's a terrible Pee Wee Herman.
La, 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 la.
Let's call a spade a spade. Let's call a spade a spade.
Hamburgers.
You were with it, and then you didn't.
How are you, Shaun?
I tried to do a Pee Wee Herman impression just now. I sounded like Louis Armstrong. La la la. Green. Red lights too.
All right. I want my bike back.
That was all right.
Yeah.
I had nightmares when I first saw that movie because of Large Marge. She was terrifying when I first.
Large Marge.
You remember that scene?
We recently just hit the 40th anniversary of her death not too long ago.
What?
Like when you look at the tombstone that's on in the movie.
Oh gosh,
that was the day she died 40 years ago. Rest in peace, Large
Large
Marge.
Marge. She was. Geez.
Speaking of resting in peace, Red Dead Redemption 2.
That was
I can't say
transition.
Surprise, but delayed again. Rockstar has announced the delay of the game to a new release date of October 26th. In a statement from Rockstar, a rep wrote, "We are excited to announce that Red Dead Redemption 2 will be released on October 26, 2018. We apologize to everyone disappointed by the delay. While we had hoped to have the game out sooner, we require a little extra time for polish. This is the game's second delay, initially planned for a fall 2017 release. It was then delayed to spring of this year." And as that happened, every other game studio that had a game scheduled for the back half of October or early half of November started cursing and throwing stuff at their windows. Because everyone should be fearful of Red Dead.
I don't know about that.
Okay.
No. Red Dead doesn't sell GTA numbers. Let's just be honest about that.
Okay. You think
I think it became more of a cult hit over time.
it sold amazing for a brand new, like,
of course it did.
Yeah. Like,
of course it did. Please note that I'm not suggesting that it didn't sell well.
Yeah.
I'm just saying
Noted.
I'm just saying that if this was GTA 6, yeah, I'd be committing suicide right now.
Why?
If I was a video game.
You haven't even played GTA 5 at all.
That's not the point. I can have an analysis on it, can't I?
But
see, no wonder I'm your 16th best friend.
But do you think, like, for instance, if I'm trying to think of a good game that would most likely be coming out in that area,
there's no way we
do Call of Duty, right
there. Well, Call of Duty will be November, and I'm not worried about. They're like the one.
Battlefield probably will be October this year.
Battlefield should be worried, I would say, and
Tomb Raider might be a thing.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Or Ubisoft, if they have whatever game coming out in the fall, if they're putting out an Assassin's Creed, or if they're putting out something else. I mean, that could be something that makes you go, ooh.
Sorry, my Apple Watch told me I have to stand.
Oh, okay.
We have to break.
You must breathe now. Have a breathe break.
Shut up, Apple.
Shut up.
But no, it makes it does good. It did good numbers. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's nowhere near.
No, but I won't be surprised at all if this game is the second best-selling game or the first best-selling game of the year. It will be I think it will be our first or second on the list.
I'll be surprised. Let's go on record for my surprise.
I would be surprised. Yeah, that would shock me.
I think you all underestimate how much people love Rockstar now.
We're not calling Red Dead the Philly of video games, okay?
They
don't need to put on dog masks. All right.
Now you're Browns fans?
Right. Like, how'd that happen?
Yeah.
Because they're underdogs, Steve.
Really? Were you really underdogs? With your top prospect?
We didn't know Nick Foles was going to be the greatest quarterback ever after they decided to run RPO with him, okay? You lose Carson Wentz and you're like, they're done. And turns out they
How
weren't.
are we still talking about
I don't know.
But yeah, that said, not surprised at all. Rockstar always delays if they're not ready. And when you make that much money on your games, you can wait.
It sold about 9 million copies.
9 million on which?
The first
combined?
Worldwide.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's solid.
Very solid.
Worldwide, baby.
Yeah.
People would kill to sell that many
I think the
copies.
big thing with that is
I'd kill Shaun.
If they
to sell that many
bring
copies.
if they're bringing back the online again, and you think of like where GTA Online for GTA 4 went, and then where Red Dead Online, which was much more popular than GTA 4 Online, went with theirs, which was what kept that community vibrant.
Yeah.
Where that could go.
Bring back zombies.
It was a vibrant thing.
Yeah.
You got to do an Undead
A
Nightmare
vibrant
2.
thing.
Undead Nightmare 2. Yeah.
I will say that if that trend continues to like where GTA 5 Online is now, and they're like, wait till we show you heist in Red Dead.
I'd just love for
That would
them
be
to-
awesome.
I just
Yes.
wish they'd do a remaster. I mean, maybe there's a remaster wedged in
remaster
here
of what?
somewhere.
They're
Of
not
Red Dead
one to do that.
Redemption.
Just go play it.
Yeah, you can go play it.
They did a remaster of L.A. Noire. Yes, it's
Yeah.
not a Rockstar developed game
Yeah.
per se, but it's not crazy.
I think they
Let
just,
me want what I want.
What?
Okay?
nah. Just go play it. It's on Xbox 360. You have it.
Yeah,
Go play it.
I will eventually.
It's a great game.
Got a lot of games, man.
You can,
What are you waiting for?
It's fun to butcher animals in that game, even more than Assassin's Creed 3. Because you
Not
go
as fun as Monster Hunter World. Just
real animals.
Saying.
I got to finish Far Cry 4. I got to play the hidden ones.
Hey, speaking of Far
I
Cry,
haven't.
Nice.
Far Cry
Nice.
DLC.
Nice.
That was a layup.
Far Cry 5 is around the corner,
He dunked it.
and Ubisoft has announced the contents of the game season pass. There are 3 packs to include, and these are
This is wild.
yeah. This is when Far Cry is clicking. This is what they do. Hours of Darkness. Players will travel back in time to Vietnam to battle against Viet Cong soldiers. Dead Living Zombies. Players will face hordes of zombies in a multiple B-movie scenarios.
It's just amazing.
And also, Lost on Mars, players will leave Earth behind to go toe-to-claw with Martian arachnids. Sorry.
No, Arachnids.
Yep, old arachnids.
Old Arachnids.
In addition, all those who purchase the season pass will receive a free version of Far Cry 3, because I think they've just about given everyone in the world Far Cry 3 at this point.
Yeah, I don't want an old game.
Do I have a?
I have it on 360 and I got that for free, and I have it on Steam and I got that from something else.
Oh,
Yeah. But that's cool. Definitely worth getting for free. I definitely want to play the Lost on Mars and the Vietnam one.
of course he skips over zombies.
I don't care.
No, this game, the new trailer dropped this week. It's nice. It's very cultish.
Yes, it is. I've heard, yeah. I haven't actually watched the new story trailer, but I've heard that's the one that actually sells it really well.
It's not a Far Cry game if there's no honey badgers, because they gotta have honey badgers. In fact, I walked up to a
trying to
guy
think if there's-
in Far Cry 4 last night. I walked up to a guy who asked me to go kill a bunch of honey badgers because
They don't care.
a honey badger killed his wife. And that was my character's reaction. He laughed and he went, "Oh, wait, you're serious?"
I'm trying to think. I don't think they were in 2. They are in 3.
Were they in Far
And they're
Cry?
in 4.
Well, the reason that became a thing
think
was
so.
because of
That's
that
forever
that
ago.
honey badger video.
Yeah.
Honey badgers don't care. And so Ubisoft just thought
Maybe
it was
they'll
funny.
just put regular badgers in this one and make them not care too.
Like just badgers carrying around jars of honey.
Like they're just wearing little Wisconsin Badgers jacket or sweaters.
Yeah, just like the mascot.
Yeah. And he's all like, we just don't care. Or maybe they'll make him look like Matthew.
Should we give a shout out to all the students from the University of Wisconsin listening to us, or
Should
just
we?
anybody in Wisconsin?
How does it feel to always get close and fail?
What does that mean? Why would you say that?
Their football team.
And their basketball team recently.
Far Cry 5
love you,
coming
Wisconsin.
in April, no March.
PUBG continues to bank. PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds has seen continued success since its early release in March 2017. It has now amassed 4 million players on Xbox One. In 8 months, it has made $712 million in revenue. The title has surpassed Overwatch and Counter-Strike Go sales, earning almost the sum of 2 games in revenue combined. I think it probably should note Overwatch, I'm sure, doesn't include their. We don't know what their sales on PC are because
Yeah, we do.
Blizzard doesn't tell us that.
Yes, they do.
crap.
I
They don't.
I get a text.
Do you?
Yeah.
From old Harry Blizzard?
It's Benny Blizzard.
Oh, Benny Blizzard.
Benny Blizzard.
But yeah, that dominates. I need to get back to that game. And I hear it's good on Xbox One now. I've heard that it's gotten to, like where they've done enough patches on the early release where it's like, okay, it's playable. It's worth playing. Yeah.
A coworker,
Ooh.
I will say the name later, recently stopped by my cube and was like, yeah, what's that game called? PUBG. Yeah, it sucks. I was like, what? And he goes,
Was it Schmal?
It could have been.
Yeah, I could see him.
But he was like, yeah, I die fast and I can't get my gun back.
So he sucks.
I'm hitting people with crowbars. And I was like, well, how long have you played? He's like, about 20 minutes.
Welcome to hell.
I was like, bro, you got to get down, get your gun, and hide.
Yeah.
Get a gun.
That's the whole
hide.
entire point. Yeah, I hear it chewing on something.
So it's probably fine.
When Penny gets quiet,
It's
something's
probably just
getting
like
destroyed.
your Xbox Elite controller. Don't worry about it.
Capcom had a great year. As Game Industry Biz has reported, Capcom's operating income increased 328.2%.
That's a lot of percent.
Citing strong performances of titles like Resident Evil 7 and Monster Hunter XX, while Ultra Street Fighter 2 on Switch was called a smash hit. Those was in quotations. Monster Hunter Ruled will be included in Capcom's full year report, which earned a cool 5 million shipped in its first 5 days of release. I think it meant Monster Hunter World, right? Is what I'm guessing that was meant to say.
Yes.
I think so.
Yes. Okay.
Which is funny that the computer made it say ruled.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Isn't it?
It's written by.
No, I mean it
computer
is. Like it went
Maybe.
to
I don't know.
or you just wanted to say ruled.
Monster
doesn't
Hunter
surprise me.
ruled.
I guess I'm trying to think. What did that guy coming up?
rules.
I do find it funny that they didn't say anything, or that this just doesn't mention Marvel versus Capcom Infinity.
I left it out.
Oh, okay. Did they say anything about it?
It underperformed,
Yeah, that's what I thought.
but it with about 1 million copies sold.
It underperformed like a bad run at the Viagra pills.
Ooh.
What?
That was the joke you went with, huh?
I've kind of blacked out for a minute and didn't realize. Yeah.
I'm just fixated on the fact that I hope they make a Monster Hunter rules.
Kaz Harari.
It's just hurrah.
Kaz Hirai, you know this one.
Yeah, you do.
Sure, I do.
See, you tried to make it funny.
No, I didn't.
Harari.
After a successful 6 years, the CEO of Sony is stepping down. He will take on a new role as a chairman.
No,
He's just making up rules. he's just doing what he wants to do right now.
During his time as CEO, he instituted the One Sony strategy, which saw the company sell off its
Vio.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, no. I tried to forget about Vio. Laptop business, revamp its TV business, and prioritize its gaming division. The PlayStation business has earned a lot of well-deserved credit for revitalizing and becoming a continued shot in the arm for Sony's business and bottom line.
I
Yeah,
did not write that.
He just made up the entire thing.
No.
I
Yeah.
just decided,
My words were better.
Kaz has nothing to be ashamed of.
nah.
As rules.
Yeah, I
He
mean,
used to be head of Sony PlayStation, I thought,
I believe so.
and they tapped him.
Well, I mean, why not? That was like
Well,
their
sure.
most successful thing
Yeah.
for the last 10 years. Even back with the PS3 days, they were still knocking it out of the park compared to everyone else.
Yeah, they were.
As impressive a run as PlayStation 4 has had, I think the most impressive thing Sony PlayStation's ever done was turn the PlayStation 3 around. I just think logistically speaking, that was a beast of a task. And technically, it eventually outsold the Xbox 360.
It did. Not in America, but in the world for sure.
Speaking of America,
Yeah, no. Switch outsells the Wii U. Wow. Nintendo Switch has outsold the Wii U in less than a year, selling over 14 million units since March 2017. This compares to the Wii U's lifetime sales of 13.5 million units. over a span of 4 years. Indeed, the Switch has become the fastest selling console in U.S. history and sold 7.23 million units in last quarter alone. Software has shown strong sales too, with Super Mario Odyssey selling over 9 million copies to date and Mario Kart 8 selling over 7 million, Breath of the Wild selling 6.7. They definitely made the right investment with their big titles coming out. The question now is just where it goes. We'll see.
We've got... I mean, the only thing, you look back and go, wow, that's an amazing number. But had they not had supply issues, what would that number be today?
That's true.
I would garner they'd be almost touching the GameCube lifetime sales.
Oh, well, that was like 20 something?
20,
right?
Yeah, about 20.
Yeah. Definitely a bounce back. I think they do their best when they just find a way into the mainstream consumer, and remind them like, hey, remember these Mario and Zelda and kart games that you used to love so much? Well, here's a new way you haven't played those before, and this is why you should come get this. And it works. It's been successful twice for them now, and one big failure.
Now.
Nintendo Switch Online service. Speaking of failures. Nintendo Switch Online service will be going live in September 2018, according to Nintendo of America. No specific dates or price points have been covered, although it was previously announced the service will be available for $19.99 as one package, with an option of $3.99 monthly and $7.99 for a 3-month membership. I'm not surprised that it's delaying, because didn't they originally said like early 2018? I thought
it was like spring. It was like now-ish,
and then
it was supposed to be fall of 2017 originally.
Yeah. They keep backing it up, and that's probably the right call because they need to figure something out.
I mean, name one time you don't like when somebody backs it up. And by somebody, I mean like a girl. Let's just be honest.
I mean,
I don't mean that at all.
Why?
Because men are just as capable of backing it up. You remember that time yesterday, you and I backed it up?
You did back it up on me, and I liked it.
Yeah, it was good.
See?
What did you guys do?
What?
Yeah, come on now.
It's all love here.
Yep. Remembering that, you're now up to 15, John.
Hey, speaking of other things with Nintendo, Mario Kart Tour announced.
What?
Mario Kart is making its way to a smartphone near you. During Nintendo's latest financial results briefing, Nintendo announced that the new mobile app, the game is currently in development and will be released sometime during the next fiscal year, which runs from April 2018 to March 2019. Makes sense. They brought everything else. It's probably about time. And I can imagine just like a simpler version where, you're racing and your turning is basically just moving your phone left and right, that kind of thing. I could see that.
I don't know.
I think it's going to be in the palm of your hand like this.
Oh.
If they're sticking with their formula.
And then maybe just like swipe left and right.
It's hard to say.
Yeah.
But I think they're not excited. I love kart, and I'm simply just not excited because of...
I didn't flash forward to March next year.
It's possible.
Love kart.
Well, I was so excited for Mario on a smartphone, and that was a bummer to me, and I don't know why.
I'm excited for their continued... that they're putting this stuff on mobile platforms for people who like mobile games to enjoy.
Sure.
They're giving them an option to experience Nintendo.
But they got to switch.
But it's understandable. I mean, it's smart because there's just some people, and I think they've realized it's like no matter what you do, they're not going to go buy a console anymore.
Those are lame people.
But they'll gladly give you $10, or even better, make the game free, and they'll gladly keep buying coins from you to keep.
If a game is good enough, right, you can give it to people for free.
Sure.
And then they'll still give you money to buy things.
You mean like $500 worth?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they want to look like
an alpine skier.
Yeah, or a gingerbread man.
Yes.
They got to do it better than...
I gave a company, Chris, $15 to look like Elf. Like Buddy the Elf.
Same here.
Well, my guess is this is going to be free to play with the microtransactions, but to me, what we call them, are they called microtransactions on mobile games?
Let's just go with it, John.
Yeah, it is.
So,
it still is.
But with Animal Crossing, it was just all you could buy in the store were leaf tickets. Instead of, I want to buy...
Did you play that game?
Oh, I'm at level 37.
Can I see it?
Addicted.
Somewhere to go?
Yeah, of course. Now you want to be friends.
And the game?
But it gave you nothing but just Leaf tickets to purchase, and Leaf tickets don't give you everything. They don't buy everything.
Why not?
That's a good question.
That is a good question.
I mean, I would like to buy, if I needed some fish to give to a neighbor, maybe I could just go buy some fish. It doesn't let me do that. Point is, I hope that Mario Kart's microtransactions are a little bit more varied, because they're not making any money, particularly in Animal Crossing. It's so easy to get Leaf tickets without buying them.
And it was
You just
free.
play.
The game was free.
Yeah.
Yes.
So how are they making money?
They're actually, according to Fortune magazine, was it Fortune, Chris?
I think
Last
so.
month, they're not
Forbes.
Sorry, they're not making as much as they wanted to.
No.
So you got Mario
Run,
which overpriced, and you've got Animal Crossing, which can't get its microtransactions right. So neither.
How can they figure this out?
The one that hit was Fire Emblem. Fire
Yes,
Emblem. They made
and Fire
a ton.
Emblem is very good. You would like Fire Emblem. I didn't mean to get my finger.
You
in your
pointed
face.
straight up in my grill piece.
You would like Fire Emblem.
Imagine
That's pretty good.
the Uncle Sam pointing at you. We want you thing.
Pretty much.
That just happened.
But they're shutting down that hot chunk of trash Matomo down pretty.
Yeah, I saw that. They did.
Well, it was terrible.
Release that.
It was awful. I just
We wanted to like it, John.
I pretended like I liked it for a few weeks.
I remember that.
This is garbage.
I did too with him, I think. And
You're
we were
all like, "Oh my god, Nintendo's made the greatest online thing." I'm like, "What do?
You go into people's houses without knocking, and you just stay there as long as you want.
yeah,
And the point of this,
Because it's creepy.
because it's fun.
speaking of fun,
Do it. Say it. Say it. Say it. You do it. You do it. Say it. Say it. Say
Genyo,
it.
Genyo,
Genyo.
Genyo,
Ginyo.
Takeda, to receive Lifetime Achievement Award. The creator of the Nintendo Wii, N64, and GameCube will be honored at DICE with the Lifetime Achievement Award. Takeda is also responsible for creating Punch-Out and Star Tropics as well. He worked for Nintendo for 45 years before his retirement in 2017. Well earned.
I love this man.
Star Tropics
Right.
is a great game.
I prefer Punch Out over Star Tropics.
Of course. Yeah, sure. Punch Out, according to Brian Altano of IGN, was the original Shadow of the Colossus.
You can make a case
If you
for
think
it.
about it.
You can make a case.
Yeah.
It's nothing but boss fights.
I think we talked about that before, and I agree 100%. Because you have to figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but this guy is like legendary,
Yeah.
but nobody knows who he is.
This is true. I'm
Because
sure
when
everyone
you
on
have
the boardroom
have a
knows.
hack like Miyamoto,
He is a hack.
sorry, Sean, I didn't mean it.
What in the just happened?
What happened? The Earth just exploded.
Oh my God.
You know what also made me go, what just happened? Mario Goes to Hollywood.
That's what you went with?
Yeah. Nintendo announced it will be partnering with Illumination Entertainment to develop a movie starring Mario. Mr. Miyamoto and Illumination founder CEO Chris, I am not even going to attempt that one.
Meladondry.
Okay. Thank you. Will co-produce this film. The film will be co-financed by Universal and Nintendo. In 2016, Nintendo president Tatsumi Kimishima announced,
Good.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
good.
yeah. What? You just had to put that name in there, huh? Thought I was going to mess that up.
no.
What? No.
You
no.
you
huh?
technically
Why don't you
you
come
did.
at me? Why don't you keep trying to put
You
these names?
technically
See what
messed
happened?
up. You technically did.
Shut up.
You said Tatasumi, and there's like, it's just Tatsumi.
No, it's Tatasumi.
We're just trying to make sure you can say fiscal instead of physical.
Yeah.
I like to say physical. Announced the company's plans to re-enter the film business with a focus on animation. At this point, one can assume the film will aim to release alongside with the Universal Studios Nintendo theme park. Well, if you...
That's a great big assumption.
Yeah. That's how you make an Umi,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Right there.
You make a donkey out of umi.
What if the three of us, just the three of us,
Just the three of us.
go to Universal?
We have to.
without
and
our families.
We have to. We have to for the show.
Just take pictures.
We theoretically could bring the families, but then we have
No.
to record and possibly go live and all that while we're
No,
there.
no. It's just us three.
I'm not going with you three creeps.
We went to Orlando
Us
once.
too.
Remember?
Yes.
Remember when we went to
See,
Orlando
Sean,
together?
counting.
I do. Did you sleep in the same room with us?
I did.
You went to Orlando with this dude?
Yeah.
And we had to watch Alabama and Kirk Cousins.
old Kirky Cousins.
Right? Screw him. Don't like him anymore. That happened too this week.
So does Mario talk or does he not talk?
Oh, he's got to talk.
I don't think he talks. I think he just.
I mean, he
Because you
says
just hired-
things. He says things,
Yeah.
but he's never really taken a subject, a
No.
predicate.
Might be
Yes, he
why
has.
they're.
A
It might
verb.
be. It might be the reason why they took this group, because it will be kind of like Minions, where he says little things as you said, but he'll use the world around.
I
them
don't
to
know how this
communicate.
works.
You just have Mario go, "Let's go."
I don't know how it works.
Minions.
I get it, but if it's a Mario movie,
Just
How
have
do you- how do you-
Princess talk.
think about that. How does that work?
Have Luigi talk.
How do you want to watch this?
I could see it being almost like Mr. Bean.
Have
Or like-
Toad talk.
Or kind of have a Charlie Chaplin type.
And you think that's going to make money?
It's Mario.
Wall-E made money and that movie sucked.
That John, I will literally end you.
He hates it because it talked about corporations,
Yeah,
even though it has like a
very amazingly.
Yeah. Did a great job.
No,
with its,
I'll never
space
forget it.
flight.
I walked out of that theater and there was this little girl walking alongside her mommy and she looked up at her mommy and said, "Mommy, are we killing the planet?" And I
And
went, "No,
yes.
kid, you're
Yes.
stupid."
Yeah, I know. There's no global warming or nothing, right, John?
It's climate change, Sean.
Yeah,
all this stuff's going down.
It is going down.
Yeah, we're killing our planet, John.
I actually read couple weeks ago that there's like diseases trapped in the polar ice sheets
Oh, they're going to get
that
released
are
when they melt.
millions of years old, and the ice melting is going to release
That's why we have super
viruses. Yeah, no kidding.
I think the bigger
Absolutely.
concern is the methane stuff, right?
flu. No,
Just
it's
give
the
me,
flu.
just give me a zombie apocalypse.
By the way, shout out to all the flu people right now. Get better if you're listening to us and you don't feel good. It's devastating out there.
That just seemed.
Shout out to the flu people, I say.
Shout out to those who have PlayStation Plus.
Yeah.
After many unconfirmed rumors this month, the games actually put out there weren't quite as spectacular as they were.
Sean and I would
it was-
disagree.
It was originally supposed to be rumored. The Order 1866 and
Order's
I
already been out
wanna
there.
Or no.
Yes.
And the other one was, it was like some other big amazing game that they were going to put out for free, and then that just all fell apart.
Some other
Like,
big amazing game? Like the
I'm
Order?
sorry. Yeah. An actual real amazing game.
The
Is it-
order's
is it-
already been on PlayStation Plus.
It has not.
I downloaded it from PlayStation Plus like a year
You're
ago.
lying.
Big defender of that game.
I know you are.
Hoping
But
for a
what am
sequel.
I?
I'm hoping for a sequel.
I know you are, but what am I?
you are, but what am I?
And it's 1886.
Yes.
What do you say, 1894?
1866.
So
Well,
dumb.
that's not included. What is Knack.
Yes.
Rhyme.
Greatest game ever.
Spelunker HD.
Knack.
Mugen Soul Z. Exiles N.
Mugen Soul Z.
Mugen Zozen.
And Grand Kingdom. Bunch of those are PlayStation 3 or PlayStation Vita games, though Grand Kingdom is both PS Vita and PS4, so cross-buy. Yeah. Let's get to the big news here, or big rumor, I should say, of the week. Microsoft acquisition rumors.
Ooh.
Speculation is swirling around a number of possible acquisitions shot by Microsoft. The companies rumored include EA, Valve, and PUBG Corp, according to super data research analyst Joost van Duren. I don't know if I said that last one right, but I went with it.
Used.
The industry should expect more news about an acquisition in the near future, saying, quote, because of where we are in the life cycle of all of these things, I'm expecting to hear Microsoft announce something very shortly. If Microsoft goes this route, it would not be the first time the acquisition of Mojang back in 2014 was for $2.5 billion. EA would be the largest acquisition, quite possibly the longest running transition. It would certainly solve the perceived perception of Microsoft having few first-party titles. Obtaining PUBG would be a smart move in securing a hugely popular title, as it is already top 4 million players on Xbox One alone. Of course, we know it's like at like 30 million on Steam now. So, boom.
It wasn't a contest.
So
I disagree with this. I think the most expensive, if they did it, would actually end up being Valve, just because I can't imagine Steam.
Well, I didn't touch on what would be more expensive.
Oh, well, I thought that's what he said. Like, he would thought that EA would be the largest acquisition. I think the largest acquisition for them would be Steam, just because
he's not really talking about costs. He's talking about
and
projects in the works. And
by the way, I want to point out something
and head.
His title, Chris, is Super Data Research Analyst. So he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, what does he know? His name is Just. Or
it's
Just. Whatever. Not even a real name. Just a made-up name. What up, Sweden?
Just, you can send all your hate mail to Chris at weeklygameschat@gmail.com. But that's it.
I mean, given what I know you weren't here, John, but what we talked about last week with the Xbox.
To rub it in.
He hasn't been here since like 2017. Dude.
Yeah, no, he really hasn't.
Is that true?
It's close.
You haven't written news that you've actually been here to talk about since 2017. I can say that.
That's crazy, isn't it? Where have you been?
Jeez.
Yeah.
It's been nice.
We've got new contracts and you're out.
Yeah. You should have been here. Anyways, from what we talked about last week with Xbox Game Pass and, of course, all their exclusives
Game Pass was
becoming, same day release now on there. This all makes a lot of sense because Xbox knows, Phil Spencer definitely knows he needs more games. And the thing is, he doesn't have the luxury of what PlayStation has built over 25 years and what, of course, Nintendo has built over 30 plus years, right? He's got to get things and he's got to get them in a hurry, and he needs to know they're going to be able to come out and be profitable and be solid. So if you wanted to do that, buying EA, which then therefore guarantees you Madden, FIFA, Battlefield, Battlefront.
Yeah, but to me, this is like a
Anthem, Dead Space, Dragon Age, Mass Effect.
This is like a New York Yankees move, though, dude. You're like having to buy your way to a victory.
I mean,
not to mention Madden. Oh, you already probably said
that. That's it. Yeah. And I wouldn't be surprised if they bought EA. I'm willing to bet while the more non-annual titles would be just exclusive to Xbox, I'm willing to bet he'll let Madden, FIFA, NHL, all those sports titles, he'll let them stay on PlayStation. Because he'll say, you have a choice now. You can either go pay $60 for these games on PlayStation, or you can sign up $10 a month on Xbox Game Pass, where you get all your EA Sports every year. No longer will you have to go out there and buy Madden every year for $60 for the roster update. You can just now pay $10 a month.
You know why I hate Chris? Because he loves this.
Yeah.
If this happens, I'll never buy anything Xbox again.
If they,
5 years later,
if they acquire EA,
yeah, I don't like that.
Don't you think it's probably best that somebody takes over EA at this point after the year they've had?
Possibly,
yeah.
But I also and look,
I think it's the least likely scenario. I think they'll grab up PUBG and maybe Valve.
I think big acquisitions sometimes are great and they're needed. But I actually, all right, for example, I loved when it was XM radio versus Sirius.
Mm-hmm.
And they merged, and I still have satellite radio, but to me, something was lost. The competition's gone. And I know the competition will still be here. I'm not saying that, but I won't like it.
With EA, I feel like they could kind of save, having someone like Phil Spencer come in could save EA from the mistakes that they've been making, in terms of just like the fact that they are a company that literally right now lives and dies by their shareholders and appeasing them. Xbox, they have a little bit of advantage in the fact that they're part of Microsoft, so they're just one piece of a very
a little bit of advantage.
It's a nice thing because all of a sudden, whereas Patrick Sutherland had to think about how can they make the most money whatsoever out of Battlefront, and to him it was loot boxes, and not thinking about some of the news behind it. Phil Spencer doesn't have to do that. Phil Spencer can just be like, look, we're going to put out the best Battlefront game, and that's going to be it. And we're going to make what we make off of it. And Microsoft's not going to care because we're this little tiny slice of a very, very large pie.
But at the same time, you don't want to bite off more than you can chew, because it's like EA has has one of the largest portfolios in the industry.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just massive. Not to mention how many projects are currently underway that an acquisition by Microsoft completely derail. I mean, if I was being acquired by Microsoft, I'd be nervous for one. If I was even with BioWare, or maybe BioWare's not so obvious this time, but I don't know. To me, the obvious get is more of a PUBG type acquisition.
I think
the way Mojang was acquired a couple of years ago.
I agree.
And that was back in 2014. That was a long time ago. It seems like yesterday.
But everyone freaked out on that, and look what happened. I mean, it's done perfectly fine. I mean,
Nobody's been prevented from having it on a console.
Exactly. If you're someone who is if you're a kid who are mainly the people playing that, you haven't seen any change that was any way noticeable that you could be like upset at Microsoft by it. If anything, it seems like it's opened more and more doors. I think I agree with you. PUBG is the most likely one, and that will mainly depend upon if Brendan Green is ready to walk away.
Well, that's the thing. If you're the guy behind PUBG, you know deep down, not a knock on the guy's talent, but you know deep down you're never going to do anything
exactly.
Like this again.
Yeah, if he stays where he is, this is going to be his life, and maybe that's fine. Maybe that's where he is right now, but that's what happened with the I can't remember his name, the guy from Mojang. The reason he sold was that he basically was like, "Look,
I'm Mr. Minecraft.
Yeah, I've made this, and I really don't want to keep doing this. I want to do something else."
Mojang was the jam.
It was
that music that would play while you're playing it. I would spend hours.
But Valve,
terrible.
I think the thing that makes more sense to me with Valve, and I would love this too. I could see Valve saying, "We're going to keep Steam. We want to keep being Steam. We don't really care," because Valve really hasn't been making games for some time now. I could see them selling off their properties to Microsoft. I totally could see that.
Just their properties or their service?
Like,
I mean, can't you see Steam becoming something on Xbox hardware?
I think they would always keep that separate. But if Microsoft probably wants Steam because they've been trying to figure out how to win a PC share with games for Windows, and nothing beats Steam. It's always just been there, Sure, they would get a little bit of peace if they picked up EA through EA Origins, but Origins is nothing in comparison to Steam's size. So I could definitely see Steam separating off and Valve saying, like, look, Steam is going to be Valve. Valve is going to be Steam. We're going to let you buy, though, Portal and Half-Life and Team Fortress and all these other entities that we have that we just don't have the resource or the financial initiative to go make anymore, because we'll never make as much on these as we make every year hosting the Steam platform.
Well, that could also be the deal that's going down with an EA, if it is in fact true. Maybe EA's reaching out to Microsoft and saying, "Hey, do you want to buy some of these boutique items that we have? Do you want Dead Space? Do you want Mass Effect? Or do you want
BioWare?
Yeah.
Please, if they just sold BioWare, I'd be happy.
Yeah, I mean, so it
you
could
just
be
want a new
EA.
Mass Effect.
I do.
Microsoft produced and built.
I'm still surprised you're against all this, because you love Marvel, you love Disney, and that's all Disney has done for the last decade.
Disney rules the world.
Yeah.
And what you haven't picked up on, because you're not in my top 4,
Ooh, I'm not.
Is that I don't necessarily like that Disney has done that.
Yeah, but
I understand. Look, in soccer, there's a team in Germany in the Bundesliga. They're called Bayern Munich. They have so much money that they go and buy all the best players in the world to sit them on the bench so other people can't have them to play against them.
Yeah. I mean, now, I don't want that.
That's evil villain stuff.
I don't want that. I want them to buy it because they're like, we're going to actually make these games.
Possibly. And as a gamer, maybe I need to look at it that it'll be great for me. Mm-hmm. But also, I like competition. I don't like a monopoly.
It's like, if they went to Ubisoft tomorrow, right?
Ubisoft,
who hasn't made a Splinter Cell game now since 2012.
You just want a Splinter Cell.
Oh my God, it's time for a Splinter Cell.
It's been forever. It used to be like every other year, and now it's been 5 years since we've even seen the series, right? If they went to them and they said, sure, we'll sell you this because we're not doing anything with it, I'm happy, because, again, that's a team making something, new that wasn't coming out.
I've got a confession.
These are your confessions.
Ooh, you okay?
Ooh, okay.
Are you okay?
I'm okay.
All right. I think I need to make a confession that I've never really played a Splinter Cell.
And minus 5 points.
Splinter Cell Blacklist.
Have you really played one?
I haven't finished it. but
It's a
I've
really
dabbled,
great game.
and it's
dabbled?
really good.
Well,
It's one of the best.
I've
it's one of the
dabbled.
best.
Dabbling.
I'll talk later.
Yeah, but I dabbled. I just wanted to get that out there. Finish. It's one of the best ones.
It's one of the best stealth games around
Yeah.
from last generation.
As a fan of Metal Gear, you should play those.
Well, that's what I did.
Like the newest ones.
I played Metal Gear. I didn't want to play that. It felt
They're very
different.
different, but they're also the same.
I knew you were going to say it.
I see what y'all did.
They're
there.
different in tone, but it's still that same idea of like explore your surroundings, figure out how you want to do something.
One's from Tom Clancy. The other one's from a hack storyteller.
Believe it
named
or
Kojima.
not, one of the only times I've really played a Tom Clancy game was The Division.
That was all right.
You liked that for a while.
I did, and that game could have ruled my life if they would have done that right.
Yeah.
That sucks.
I was thinking about going back to it, but then I don't.
Yeah, I hear it's pretty good now. I know we've said that a few times. So yeah.
Next steps for Sonic. Oh,
Hey, yeah.
Back it up.
Tighten
hold
up,
on,
dude.
Dude. Well, I wasn't expecting this to be the last thing I read this week, but whatever. Finally this week. Finally this week. Next steps for Sonic.
Pathetic.
Do we really do that every week?
We're really sad.
You are. It has come to our attention.
We're sad
The more
middle-aged
Sonic
men.
announcements. It has come to our attention, aka the staff here at Weekly Games Chat, that more Sonic announcements will be coming in March by way of the South by Southwest Festival. That's SXSW for those who are looking for abbreviations in their life.
Yeah.
At a Sonic panel called Gotta Go Fast. That makes sense. The panel will feature a world exclusive Shaun.
Xbox exclusive world premiere. Exclusive.
That was terrible.
On purpose.
Exclusive.
First look at an exclusive first look.
Exclusive.
Thank you. Of what's next for Sonic. The panel will take place on March 16th at the Austin Convention Center. Last year began on a high with Sonic Mania, but the buzz was killed later in the year. The
Why?
not so stellar Sonic Forces. Yeah, we don't talk about that.
I just wanted to just know why again. I like to bring up and open up wounds.
Why?
Sonic Mania, I played that game.
Game is
It was
great.
terrible.
It's great.
Screw Sonic.
It's
You gotta
greatest-
give it. You gotta give it to
Great.
Sega.
Sega.
It's like you imagine a fighter that keeps getting knocked down in the ring, and you're just like, come on, man.
You mean like Chumbawamba?
just stay,
I get knocked out.
See?
just stay down, stay down, stay
Except
down.
for Sonic Well, I think it's like maybe they were going to learn.
Hold up.
Just give it
But
to
that's the
people who
point.
are hardcore fans of
guess.
this, of
John.
the TD.
Did Rocky stay down?
Ooh, logic.
Did Rocky stay down? Or did he beat that Russian?
I said you gotta hand it to Sega. Maybe you should listen to what I'm
Maybe
saying.
you should shut your face.
This is why I'm not your sixth best friend.
You've gone
anymore.
back down to 17,
I
John.
miss it when he was dead.
Oh my God. They killed John. Who?
You bastards.
I was driving to work when I heard the comment, "Jonathan is dead."
Was it weird?
I almost wrapped my car around a tree just to spite you guys.
So instead you ruined the battery?
Yeah,
dick.
but what really died was John's car.
Are we ready to wrap this up?
Never. Electronic mail of the future.
Communication is the key.
If you want to communicate to us, you can do so by writing in at weeklygameschat@gmail.com. That's weeklygameschat@gmail.com, just like A.A. Aaron did.
What up, Triple Aaron?
He says, sup, guys?
What's up?
A.A.
up, bro?
Aaron here.
What's up, bro?
Yeah, you are.
By this point, you probably reviewed Monster Hunter, but I just got to say it's awesome.
Yes, it is.
A little overwhelming at first, but you stick with it, it really starts to open up.
Yeah, it does.
My friend explained it perfectly. I told him I first thought it was clunky, but he said, no, not clunky. You just can't cancel an attack once you've started a combo. Once that clicked in my head, I became a combo machine. Charge blades have been my personal favorite so
They
far.
are good.
P.S. At this point, We have a Super Bowl champ, and I really have had no one to cheer for. Lifelong Steelers fan, so I hate both. But honestly, I'll channel my inner PA and say I hope the Eagles won. But I'm going to bet my future self and say they didn't. Well, you're wrong, future self, Aaron.
Yeah.
Game on.
Game on. Yeah. He said it perfectly. Yeah. We did review Monster Hunter. I hope you enjoyed it.
Deep. Hashtag.
Hashtag. That's me making a hashtag sound.
Next up. Alex writes in and simply says, hey, did John actually die or did he finally discover the joys of multiplayer gaming?
Alex,
We
yes.
may never know.
And yes.
Yeah.
What?
We may never know. Did you die, John? I thought you died.
I'm a little dead inside.
Yeah. It just added.
He's been dying the last couple of years.
The only thing that keeps my heart pumping is my beautiful wife.
Oh, your wife. Bucky.
Bucky?
Oh, hey.
Bucky.
The throw up was to John's
Yeah.
on-air love spat.
He says, hey, guys.
Hey, Bucky.
Hey, Bucky.
How are you?
How's Captain America?
Jeez. What's it like to be the Winter Soldier?
If that's the real Winter Soldier, I would not talk.
First off, we
No.
only do that because we love you. So we hope you can take a little ribbery.
love
With
Winter Soldier.
Xbox Game Pass costing $9.99, would this hurt indies? For $9.99, Xbox owners will have access to new and older Microsoft games. Is this move going to hurt indie sales across the console? Thank you. I think if anything, it will probably aim to entice them to bring them in. They say like, "Hey,
enticed me.
come
Entice
in
who to
and,
bring what in?
entice them to join their
Yeah.
their
Do you need
collection
to
of
read it
games."
again? John didn't listen.
Do you think that indies would be hurt by the $9.99 price?
Oh,
tag?
indies.
Yeah, like small games.
Like independent games, John.
Yeah.
See, indies is short for.
For instance, I guess Celeste would be the most recent.
Look at him doing the plug. You see
Boom.
what he did?
Might hear about that.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Sorry. I am for. Oh,
I don't really know about that. I mean, one would think that what indies care about more is exposure.
Yes,
Sure.
That's exactly what I
well,
was
that's the problem that's going on right now with pretty much all of them. And like Switch has kind of been a gateway, like golden place for the indies lately. But even then, that's becoming crowded and oversaturated too, from what I hear. Because
You would know if you had a Switch. You could actually have on
You could
The
play
problem-
Celeste in the palm of your hands.
Yeah, you
the
could.
problem that I do so on my 4K
on
TV,
the
4K
Deuce throne.
Xbox One,
On the Deuce throne.
old Deuce throne.
Speaking of work deuces, I forgot how great those can be.
I like to play a game now.
I took a
I
deuce
like to
at
play-
the Marriott this morning.
Did you?
I like to
Fantabulous.
play a game now called Is Shaun Juicing? And so, should I walk in real quick?
If you traverse from where you are in the building to where I am in the building,
But don't you traverse to my area?
don't you? No, y'all have completely. That used to be the sanctuary.
Do you guys
I'm
do
gonna
your
go-
daily
I bet-
walks again? Are you back on that?
We kind of-
Afternoonish.
yeah. We ponder about life.
What's it like being friends?
But no, the big
Terrible.
problem that's going on with console,
worst.
the big problem with indies right now, and Steam does an okay job, but for the most part, everywhere else it's a cluster. Is there's no way for a person to easily discern what's a good game versus what is just something that's being put out there by a small studio trying to make money. And maybe the way you do that, I mean, if you're Microsoft and you do court these games and you get them on there, you promote them and you say like, look, we're putting them part of our program because we think this is a game that's worth playing, not, something that's just trying to take some money off of you.
Well,
I don't know.
It's 50-50 though, because,
Yeah.
PlayStation, released Resogun and
Yeah.
that studio can't make any money anymore because there's now an expectation that if it's a indie title, you have to give it to me for free.
And I was going to say implement some sort of way to review, because what's more important other than exposure for an indie game is people word of mouth saying this is good. But then on PlayStation, for example, in their store,
Well,
every game is a 4-star.
remember everything used to be last generation. We didn't have this problem as much because really, of course, at first it was mainly Microsoft pushing it, and then Sony came on board not too long after, and Microsoft was very particular on who was
you said
allowed
that
to
before.
put that out.
I think last week.
Yeah, and it made it it made it so easy to find all these great titles because, they would say, no, your game has to work if you're going to be on here. But now it's about being user friendly, which I'm all for. And it's great. I want people to have ease of access to put their game out. But it really helps or hurts when you have 55 new games coming out per week. And most of them, you have no idea what they are or if there's any quality behind them. And, big review sites, of course, it's really hard for them to go out there and review these things because they just don't have the staff.
When you have Xbox Games Pass, do you have that game forever as long as you have the pass, or do they? I thought they funneled in games and then took them away.
Yeah, I think that's what they're supposed to be doing with the third party stuff. But I know now the idea with the Microsoft owned ones is no, they're going to be there forever.
Well, you may have touched on this when.
Yeah, he did.
But the I don't know if you read the UK. A lot of UK retailers are threatening to boycott Microsoft because of this.
It's not good.
And I'm thinking to myself,
John, it's not good.
Who cares? Yeah, they don't care.
Because for how long has stores like GameStop, Walmart, Best Buy sold?
You may say
used
I know.
Hear me out. Used games for $55 instead of $60.
It's
right.
That undercuts sales for Microsoft and Sony and all these guys. It's like it's kind of complaining about getting a dose of your own medicine.
Sure. I think like every company has like things that they do that I think when they execute, they tend to do greatness there. Like, Sony, it's usually listening to people. Like when they actually step back and they don't try to force things and they just listen to their consumers, you see what happens. They come back and they roar with confidence because people really like their library of games. With Nintendo, it's usually finding something that is not just designed for hardcore gamers, but what is more so designed for the common person and the things that they're doing in life, whether it's motion games or now the idea of just being able to take your console wherever you want, right? Mm-hmm. With Microsoft, to me, it's always been when they do radical things that are really future forward thinking that no one else is thinking about right now in terms of technology, but probably is where we're going to end up in 10 years regardless. And the whole entire thing with this Xbox Game Pass is that it is a forward thinking thing.
I think so too.
But it's looking at everyone else and going like, if people expect this with this, they're going to expect this with games at some point. We need to beat everyone there. And to do that, you better start to get ready with this idea of, guess what? We don't care what Best Buy sales are per year on software sales if we can make money off of our consumers.
Yeah, and it's like
and Amazon doesn't care either.
Sure.
Yeah.
And for the time being, I think this is only Xbox exclusive games that are being released immediately.
I think you can't underestimate the importance of the economic cycle with software sales in stores. Now, I understand your qualm with GameStop, and I'm just saying it's a reality. I'm not
sure,
but I've already seen the stores kind of adapt to the changing market that is software sales. You go to a Walmart now, and the cases or the spaces where the cases used to be for a ton of Xbox or PlayStation games, now they're gone, and there's just little cards hanging up that are download codes. Mm-hmm. So they're adapting to the physical game's going to leave, but we still have to sell the game.
Physical or fiscal?
The physical copy.
And to be fair, like, I know. Best Buy has adapted because, I mean, we used to go there every single day.
Yeah.
And you remember how that store was, say, 6 years ago, where like one half of the store was nothing but like CDs and DVDs and video games. Yeah. And now, the video game section is still kind of prevalent, but CDs and DVDs have been like relegated to 2 aisles of the whole entire store. The majority of things now are gadgets, security systems, home vacuums. Yeah. Anything that's automation designed for your house, because they understand this isn't something that's going to be a digital service. This is something tangible. And some people need to go into a store and see and feel these things before they're willing to ever buy it. That's their advantage. That's where they're going to move their store towards. The ones that are going to be suffering are going to be, the GameStops, unless they figure something out, because their medium is going away. We've said this forever. It's just...
Well, and they're starting to do things like have plushes and socks and book bags. But I will tell you, man, you don't want the stores, and I'm telling you, you don't want them to just not have the stuff to sell at all.
No, sure. I agree.
Because that could crumble some stores. Maybe not all of them, but it could hurt the way you go into a Target or what, the different, like the Best Buys can do now. And I don't want to see a world without a Best Buy. I like going in there and seeing things.
I don't either.
So we'll see how this plays out, because this could be, apparently a great question in an email, because
Slade, #1 fan of Best Buy.
I went into GameStop, EB Games 2 nights ago, because I had all that big trade in I did. I had all these points.
you couldn't wait to get rid of them.
Well, what I went in there I did not want to buy Shadow of the Colossus physical. I knew it was a game that I was comfortable owning forever, so I was going to buy it digitally. I went in there and I said, I know what I'll do. I'll just buy a couple of PlayStation cards. They wouldn't let me buy them.
Why?
Because it's
I think
I don't really know.
That is in their thing.
So I tried. So I said, okay, looks like you're getting me to pre-order. Good for you. So I pre-ordered Shadow, and I pre-ordered Far Cry.
Instead of doing that, just go to GameStop's website and buy a digital version.
Cancel the pre-order.
Yeah,
and go.
I'll look. Maybe I don't know. Anyway. So I ordered Shadow of the Colossus, but it wouldn't let me use it to pay the whole amount until the physical I'm doing it now. Until the physical copy arrived.
Do I say
so I had to put $5 down and not pay for the whole thing with
sounds like something. This doesn't make sense.
My point is, I went in.
All the
rewards that I had,
but not with your reward points.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, okay.
The caveat is that I think the points tell you can't use them to get like PlayStation cards.
Oh, okay. For some reason, I'm thinking you're using your
real money,
your actual your
GameStop
balance
card.
left over.
No.
Okay, gotcha.
The point is, I can't go into that store and use my rewards the way I want to use my rewards.
Sure. Yeah, that's fair.
But the #1 thing we should take out of that is you put 5 on it.
You got 5 on it.
Yeah, you did.
I put 5 on Far Cry 5 as well for the Xbox One.
I put 16 on that.
Oh yeah.
Also on the Xbox One.
Why would you put just 16?
Because that's what I had left over.
How do you
from my
get 16?
Because of it was what was left over.
Put 15 and carry it $1.
Hey, get in my face. Back
But it's all. I guess it's all good because tonight when we go, I'll just they'll scan it then. And it'll be fine.
That's true.
But I didn't want a physical copy.
Last, we got an email from Scott.
Hi, Scott.
He says, "Hey lads."
Hey.
He said lads.
Yeah, he did.
Hope all is well in WGC land and that John has since returned to the land of the living. That's debatable. Got a quick comment on the glut of games that's clogging my PS4. I recently bought an external hard drive.
Don't talk to Chris. Leave Chris out of it. Do not.
Because that 500 gig hard drive was screaming for mercy.
Yes.
And downloaded my library to it. All was joyful bliss for about 10 minutes. I then realized how many games I don't actually have time to play. I have played some, like Call of Duty World War II with my brothers, and it's all good and fun. And of course, I have to keep up with my FIFA 18 like the addict I am. But I've got Destiny 2 sitting on my hard drive untouched yet. And at some point, I'm going to want to get back into the new expansions for Battlefield 1 and maybe actually get back into Star Wars Battlefront 2 as well. And then there's the rest of Assassin's Creed Black Flag that I've yet to complete, and Dragon Age Inquisition that is just looking at me all forlorn like the red-headed stepchild. I guess my question is this. How do you prioritize your gaming when there's so much stuff out there? Far Cry 5 is on the horizon, and God of War, to say nothing of Red Dead, and God of War, and to say nothing of Red Dead. It's all too much. First world problems and all, but seriously, I'm getting a tad overwhelmed. At least the Patriots lost.
That's funny.
Even though as a Cowboys fan, it sucks watching Philly win anything. Am I right? I will agree with you on your terrible choice.
Chris, can you attest to that?
It's the only thing that me and a Cowboy fan will ever unite in is that Philly sucks more.
Well, to his question on prioritizing games, the answer is, I think you can't. You have to, because when games are digital, gosh, it's so sweet to just hit that button. Just hit that button.
Get that.
Hit that button.
Piece of candy.
Ooh, piece of candy. Exactly. I know. I mean, there is no way I'm going to ever play all the games in my library. It could be worse. I could have a Steam account.
Yeah, check out Chris's. I would say I
have Humble Bundle now, and I just got Tacoma for free yesterday because of that. And I'm like, when will I play that?
It's worth it. I think you'd like that.
In some way, we're prioritized because we have a podcast. And I'm speaking in very general terms.
Sure.
Maybe start a podcast.
There you go,
Wherever
yeah.
you're from.
You'd be surprised what you do when you have to have a topic for each week.
This isn't a knock on the show because I love doing the show, but ever since I've done the podcast, I've had to prioritize games that I wouldn't typically prioritize.
We need to fire John.
Yeah, he's done.
Yeah, you're out.
But it's like, you know,
you can have him, BK.
I'm playing Far Cry 4 so I can play Far Cry 5, which shouldn't matter because they're not related in any way.
No,
Chris says I have to, which threw me for a complete
I think
loop.
you should go. I mean, well, you haven't played a Far Cry game.
Primal, but that's not really quote unquote
I mean, like,
Far
yeah,
Cry.
classic. You should go play
Honestly,
real.
Primal is the best one.
Lies.
It just is. It's
Cry 3
so.
forever.
It's good, but you know.
Yeah, I
Anyway.
love Far Cry 4 too.
Speaking of the whole download library,
Yeah.
my wife,
Your wife.
Your wife.
last
I was
week,
there.
we have roughly 700 gigs of internet available per month.
Ooh, you got data caps?
Yeah,
What do you
So
have?
sorry.
it's AT&T.
Yeah.
Anyway, so with the transfer of the PlayStation Plus, what's going on?
We just don't like the idea of data caps.
Is
this
it
is what
enforced?
happened.
Is it enforced data cappage?
Apparently, that's which is kind of my point right now.
is what
Clarissa
happens
IM'd
when
me
net
and said,
neutrality.
she said, honey, we've gone over our 700 gigs. What have you been doing?
Streaming.
I said, no, streaming is not really.
Oh, yeah. A movie?
Trust me. Trust me.
Oh, yeah.
All
well,
we do
also-
is stream. All we do is stream.
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, honestly, I think it's because I've been downloading this entire month my entire library of PlayStation games,
That'll do it too.
which are 50 gigs a piece.
For some reason, I just didn't think it worked like that.
I will say this.
I
will warn
looked
you.
it up. If you download 50 gigs, you've used 50 gigs.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
I will warn you though, and this comes from someone who used to have Mediacom and had to go through this with just 300 gigs. Be careful with your streaming because that does add up quick. You're talking like
It's hard to.
it's like 2 gigs per hour. So if you start to like think about it and you go through and it's like you're watching something and your wife's watching something and Aiden's watching something, that's not just 2 gigs per person or combined per hour. That's 2 gigs per device going on per hour or something like that. Might even be higher than that, and it adds up.
that means
quick.
we'd have to watch 350 hours of television.
You'd be surprised how quickly that.
I'm
can
just
happen.
saying the
I
fact
have a
that,
kid.
the fact that that's
It will
Might be
never
even more.
happen.
It might be even more.
the fact that is trickling. That's like a cell phone plan almost. That's trickling to your personal internet at home. I do. That's another thing
It's been-
that I despise. That is terrible.
It's been frustrating. I'm at the point where I'm like, honey, tell me what package we have, and let me put $20 extra towards it, $30 extra towards it to get, I don't know, 100 MIPS per second. Or MIPS. I shouldn't say MIPS per second because that's
I don't know.
MIPS.
That really
I'm
bothers
just
me.
so tired of our internet. It's just driving me crazy.
I got you. Yeah, didn't you say you could get charter out there?
I don't know.
You
If
should.
you can, you should.
But I've been watching Hulu lately, and the difference between Hulu and Netflix is if you watch Netflix and the internet slows down, it buffers and
Yeah.
it gets more grainy, but it still plays. Hulu, if your internet slows down, it just
Stops.
buffers.
Yeah.
If you have, this just hit me. Where you live, you have multiple options for internet service providers.
Mm-hmm.
There is no reason you should have AT&T where you
Exactly.
live.
Actually, at the time we were setting up cable and internet, DirecTV was the only person we can get to come out to our house,
That's definitely changed.
and and they bundle with AT&T, so that's why we have AT&T.
I would say look into that, man. Honestly, just from a consumer standpoint,
Do it.
because that is terrible.
I will say
That makes me so. I want to go fight for you, somebody.
getting back on topic here to the
That is
email.
on topic.
No. I mean to Scott's email. I will say this: these two don't ever complete games. Yeah, I don't know. What'd you do? You cut yourself there.
Let's go to war. Let's do it.
These two idiots don't ever complete their games because they made the terrible, tragic choice to be fathers and husbands. give up on relationships and love no one but a dog, and you too can play whatever you want and can accomplish these things. All you got to do is find a way to work 40 hours a week and pay your rent. After that, everything else is golden. I can go through a game that's 100 hours in about a week and a half. So, all I had to do was say, screw relationships.
The heck with that, Scott. My wife's super hot.
Your wife.
And it's totally worth it.
So the guy who was supposed to talk about Twitter mentions just apparently cut his face and he's walked around. He's running as quickly as he can.
I'm going to scroll through it real quick.
No, you don't know what you're doing.
I don't know what.
But Shaun, why don't you tell us what mentions we had on the Twitters, which you can find us at weeklygameschat.twitter.com.
All right, I'm going to start off. There was a tweet by at Dano P.
Ooh.
He says, at Weekly Games Chat, love your podcast. It's the best thing I've subscribed to in years. Grown a lot to your voices.
Nice.
Thank you so much for that. Let's scroll up a little bit.
He groans a lot to our voices?
It's grown, yeah, our voices. Yeah.
I like that better.
Shout out to Rice and Baby P for the follow. Following you back. I told you guys that if you do that, and if I get a chance to, I will follow you back live during the recording. This guy or person at Father Dibs is following us from Bavaria.
Whoa.
Nice.
So we're going to go ahead and follow back. He has a nice little Destiny themed background thing.
Ooh.
And then, so I put out a tweet today and it was really funny. So basically I said, let me click on it.
I may have actually posted a tweet too today.
I think you did.
Yes.
It basically, the tweet was like, hey, hope everybody's having a great Monday. Will John come back?
You did say that. I saw that.
John may, or I said, hey, everyone, hope you're having a fine Monday. John may or may not be returning for tonight's recording. Did you see the news about Mario's movie and where them Philly fans at Super Bowl champs? And at PSN Vintage 1985, said, is John still dead? And then we had Goldilocks, who I don't believe we're following. Let's see. At Golden Trawick, thanks for the follow. This is my favorite background I've seen on Twitter because I'm going to show you. It's Luke Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi and the lightsaber's going through Luke Skywalker's face.
That's pretty solid.
So I just wanted to once again say, no, as you see, John is back. He's not all the way dead.
They hear he's back.
Yeah.
They don't see.
And then finally, Odin, the Cheez-It, he tapped into that same thread and he just said, is John dead? He might be. So thanks guys so much. We definitely appreciate you. And like Chris said, you can find us on Twitter at Weekly Games Chat.
Also on Facebook.com where you can find our episodes. On also YouTube. Just search in either of those places for Weekly Games Chat. We should show up. This has been episode 139 of Weekly Games Chat. If you like the show, subscribe to us on iTunes or whatever podcast service you choose, and you will get a new episode every Wednesday.
And free pizza for a year. What?
That's not true. At all.
I just say things.
This is true. He says
He
things.
does just say things. It's very, very true.
We actually need to create a hashtag called
my God.
Stuff Shaun Says.
You have a Band-Aid?
What happened to you?
No, I don't.
There was like I don't know, and I just
You want me to
scratched.
plant my lips on your cheek and suck?
No.
Oh, man, that's golden. Anyways, if they have a review service or rating system from wherever you subscribe, make sure you drop us a very nice rating or review. It's important. It helps people find the show. That's the lie I tell you all to keep you all doing that. Is it a lie? Until next week. I can't say it yet because he walked away again.
Well, while we're waiting for him to come back, you can check out a lot of content I do on the playerwaypodcast.com.
That's true.
Plus, check out their weekly show, which is excellent, I must say. That's they do give us good love. That's playerwaypodcast.com or playlifeyourway.com.
Thanks for all the love.
So they're sending a check, right?
They don't need to.
But
I've
You've taken all the money in already.
I've got
cool.
I've got a couple of articles
pay
dropping.
them.
What's your problem? Trying to drop my stuff.
it's
Trying
fun
to
to
drop
do
your
that.
stuff, huh? The cool thing to say is I'm trying to get my plugs in.
There you go. Stuff Shaun says.
You see,
it's
I
real.
know.
Shaun, your cheek has a lot of very tiny vein, just like your forehead does. That's why the forehead bleeds.
Is
Or
that why it won't stop bleeding?
That's why it won't stop bleeding.
I accidentally nicked
Pressure.
I nicked my ear last week, and I had to go to work, and I was just like cuffing it because every 5 seconds it would just keep bleeding. But anyways,
I got some liquid stitches. Let's make this happen.
nope.
It's the smallest cut ever, and I want liquid stitches.
Until next time,
Indeed.
I will say game on, Sean.
Game on, Chris.
For the first time in a month, I'll say game on, John.
Game on, Chris. Bleed on, Shaun.
Bleed on, John.
Your mom's box.
Peace out, everybody.
Thug life.
Yeah.